The root is self-doubt. That's the thing that causes us to play smaller, doubting ourselves. So when we can answer that thing inside us, what causes us to doubt ourselves, I'm telling you,
I think you gotta have a dream.
The School of Greatness.
Really?
Yeah.
Please welcome Lewis Howes.
Today we're covering the 4 keys to overcome your fears and achieve your biggest goals. It's all about how to unlock the power of your mind to break through to the next level of what you want to create in your life. I'm very excited for you. And I want to ask you a question. If you could identify in your mind what your greatest year yet would look like, what it could look like, what it could feel like, what the experiences would be on a daily basis, who you'd be spending time with, who you'd be traveling with, where you'd be working, where you'd be investing your talents in, the activities you'd be doing on a consistent basis, the big dreams that you'd have that you'd be in pursuit of. I want you to just imagine and think about it for a moment before we type in. I want you to imagine and think about it for a moment and really feel what that would feel like to experience the greatest year yet. So before you type anything in, again, I want you to think about and imagine what your greatest year would look like in your relationships, with the people you care about, your friends and family, the activities you're doing on a daily basis, the adventures you go on, the people that you meet and interact with, the mentors that you get to work with and that support you, the health that you create for yourself, where you feel proud of, where you feel like I did something really good for myself today around moving my body, around stretching my body, around eating things that I know support and serve me and lift me up. I just want you to imagine what that looks like and what that experience would be like. And I know that you've experienced these things before, but maybe you haven't had them as consistently as you would like. And there is no such thing as a perfect day every single day. There's going to be adversities that we're all going to face and challenges we're going to need to overcome. But my intention is for you to get a visual experience to see what it would feel like for your greatest year yet, knowing that challenges and adversities are coming, knowing that people are going to get sick in your life at some point. People are going to come and go as friends. Opportunities may come and go as well. And I just want you to sit with it and experience it for a moment and imagine what that greatest year could look like and feel like. And go ahead and take a moment to share just a couple things in the chat of what opened up for you in anything that resonated with you from what you were visualizing and thinking about right there. Go ahead and share in the chat what opened up for you. And I think when we can reflect on the feeling of what we want to create in our life, when we can reflect and imagine what we want to create in our life, then we can start to have a better idea, a better sense of what it is we truly want and why we want that. A lot of times we're not clear exactly on what we want, nor do we know why we want it. And I just believe this is the first step, is just having a visual imagination around the clarity of what you want and why you want it. And if you don't experience it right now, there's nothing wrong with you. It doesn't mean you're bad or you're a failure. It just means you're at a point in your life where certain things have worked and certain things don't work anymore for you. And that's okay. And we're here to support you in providing the training, the science and the research and the practical application to give you tools in this free webinar on supporting you and getting closer to that desired year experience. That is our intention here. myself, and Team Greatness put this together for you to support you this year, to support you in overcoming the things that hold you back, to support you in feeling better and experiencing your environment better, and making better daily decisions and commitments that support that experience you want to create. That's what this is all about. This life is all about experiencing a richness to it and feeling peace and feeling supported and loved and seen. But if you don't create that for yourself, if you don't support yourself, if you don't see yourself, if you don't love yourself, if you don't create boundaries in your life, if you abandon yourself, if you harm yourself, if you say negative things to yourself and you say negative things about others, then you are responsible for the environment you're creating externally and internally. And you are 100% responsible for why you're not creating the life you want. So that's step one. And I want you guys to be aware of this. And there's probably not going to be many new things that you haven't heard in this presentation, but maybe you need to hear it right now, and you need to hear it in this specific way where it will wake you up for whatever it is to support you from where you are to where you want to be. And that's the intention for this webinar. So again, I'm very excited, and I'm going to give you guys a free bonus if you guys stick around to the very end, which is a fear conversion toolkit. We're going to talk about the 3 fears that hold people back in their life. But on the screen here, you'll see we've got a PDF we'll be giving you guys at the end for those who stick around, which is the fear conversion toolkit. This is going to help you 10x your progress this year. I believe self-doubt is the killer of dreams, and fear causes you to doubt yourself. And so we're going to give you the exact process that has worked for so many different people I've had on the show, and for myself and many others around the world, to convert this fear into action and embracing it. Your greatest year yet hinges on working towards something greater, something more than you've been before. You know, as the universe is constantly expanding, this is what's happening in the universe. We need to be constantly thinking, how can we expand? How can we grow? If we don't, we will feel stagnant. We'll feel unfulfilled. We'll feel unsatisfied if we're not working towards progress in something in our life. That's just the laws of the universe. The universe is expanding, and so therefore we must expand. So what would you like to add to your dream board? So again, go ahead and add to the chat what you really want to create. And maybe you imagined it, maybe you thought about it in the little visualization exercise that we had. And I think a lot of people in life, they think about, well, if I launch this thing and it doesn't work out perfectly and it doesn't get sales with the results I want, or if I put a book out there and no one buys it, then I'm a failure. And that's not what this is about. It's about learning. What did I just say at the beginning of this webinar? I said adversity and challenges are going to come to you this year. You're going to be faced with some extreme challenges. And I know that doing life on my own and doing it from a place of a fixed mindset as opposed to a growth mindset and contribution and service to myself and others is only going to hold me back and going to cause more upset and pain when pain comes into my life, because the adversity is going to come. We just faced the last 3 years a lot of challenges with COVID, with stress, with overwhelm, with financial crisis. And winter is going to continue to come in different ways in our lives. And if we are not prepared emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually to expand and grow during those adverse times, then we are just going to be experiencing a lot more pain. So I want you to think about what you want to have on your vision board, which is actually an action board. The things you're going to start doing differently on a daily basis to support you in getting that. And I want you to ask yourself, what is the biggest thing holding you back from having this dream desired year right now? Go ahead and type in the chat, what has been holding you back? I'm seeing someone say myself, fear, me, my insecurities, myself, lack of confidence, self-doubt, fear, feeling unworthy, financial stress, procrastination, money and fear, laziness, self-criticism, poor habits, time management, scared, feeling sick, lack of follow-through, inconsistency, bad marriage, financial challenges, cancel culture, PTSD, childhood traumas, heartbreak, lack of motivation, lack of self-esteem, fears, trauma, FOMO, soul loss, lack of focus, fear of success, all these different things. And I appreciate you guys sharing and being open about this, because when we are aware of the thing that holding us back, that's when we can lean into it and start to overcome it. So in this webinar, I'm going to share with you guys a free PDF download of the Fear Conversion Toolkit. This is going to help you overcome any fear that you have. We give you the exact process. We're going to give you that at the end of this presentation. We're going to talk about how to find your meaningful mission, because a lot of people lack focus. And I saw that in here. They lack the focus of what they actually want to create in their life. And fuzzy targets get fuzzy results. So we're going to talk about how to find your meaningful mission. Then we're going to identify the things that hold you back and start building your system for taking massive action. So I am excited to dive into this. I'm excited to be here and present this with you. And also we have a number of people who joined our VIP coaching right after this. So we will be doing about an hour and a half, 2 hours of VIP coaching, where people will be coming on the screen, asking questions to me right after this presentation. If you've already invested and signed up for that, then I can't wait to see you guys there. If you haven't, we'll put a link in here so you guys can join that as well. But you're likely here for one of two reasons. You know what to do, but you aren't doing it. You've got a dream, but you're not taking action, or you don't know what to do and you need clarity. Go ahead and type in which one it is for you. You know what you want, but you're not taking action, or you don't know and you need clarity. Go ahead and type that in. Someone said both. Both. No action, need clarity. Not taking action, clarity, both. Number one, I need both. A lot of people just taking action, needing both. So you're all here at a great time in your lives. You're all here at the perfect timing, the perfect season of your life. And we're here to support you. And we want to support you with giving you the knowledge and the tools. So, James Clear says, can my current habits carry me to my desired future? And we're going to look at that as well. If what you're doing isn't working, then I got to ask yourself something. Are you willing to try something differently? Are you willing to shift something? And it doesn't mean you need to take some extremes. This is why, New Year's resolutions, or someone setting a new goal to lose a bunch of weight or save a bunch of money or do something, typically doesn't work for a lot of people when they do extremes. It's more about shifting 1% to 2% consistently every single day and doing that over a period of time. That's the thing that's sustainable. But a lot of us get discouraged because we try to do something extreme right away. After 3 to 5 days, we realize how actually hard and unsustainable it is. And then we kind of give up and go back into our old pattern. So maybe you started working out, but stopped due to some excuses, or you tried to just be too extreme. You tried to be consistent with building a business, but you didn't get any sales right away, or people made fun of the logo. And so your insecurities got in the way. You started to have doubt, and that doubt crippled you. Again, self-doubt is the killer of dreams in my mind. And so the goal is to overcome the doubt and be secure when you fail, because failure is going to happen at every level. You're going to make mistakes every day. And especially if you're going after something you want, that you care about it more, and it creates more fear and insecurity because you want it to happen. So we've got to learn to shift emotionally and mentally how to still accept yourself when you fail. Accept yourself when people judge you. Accept yourself when they laugh at you. And I know that's hard. That was hard for me most of my life. It's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this mission and this work, because I remember feeling so low and insecure and lonely all the time, and afraid to try stuff as a kid because I was just afraid of not being accepted. And at the end of the day, I didn't love and accept myself fully because I just didn't know how to. I didn't have the tools, or even if I had the tools, I didn't know how to use the tools effectively to support myself. And so that's why it's been a decade of learning and growth and overcoming the fears and insecurities that hold me back as a kid, because I was just kind of sick and tired of feeling that way, sick and tired of feeling not good enough, not lovable enough, not ready enough, not smart enough, not old enough, not whatever enough. And I don't know if any of you have ever felt that, or maybe you feel that right now, that you're sick and tired of feeling not enough about something. But if that's you and that resonates with you, go ahead and type in me right now in the chat. If you are sick and tired of not something enough, not feeling ready enough, not feeling like you have enough opportunities, not having the right people in your life, not feeling supported enough, not feeling lovable, not feeling like you have the confidence enough to do what you want to do, the right money, the right resources, whatever it is, type in me right now if that's you. And if you can see the chat, you know that you're not alone. Thousands of people are responding right now. So you're all here at the right place at the right time. And I want to honor and acknowledge you for showing up, because a lot of people don't want to take on themselves. They're resistant to themselves because they're comfortable and familiar. This was me for a long time in my life. You get comfortable, you get set in your ways. You say, I want to protect myself and I'm going to stay in this way. And there's nothing bad and wrong about that, but that's going to keep getting you the results you're getting. And so if you want different results, you got to first look within. You got to first learn, what is the fear that holds me back? What is that thing? And believe me, for a long time, I didn't think I had any fears because my ego was so big. I was like, I got it all figured out. But it wasn't until I started to reflect and look within and have breakdown after breakdown in my life where I was like, okay, the common denominator is me. So maybe if I want the world to change around me, maybe I got to start with changing myself. And people don't want to change. We don't want to change because what's gotten us here is familiar. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But that's going to hold you back from what you want if you're not willing to grow. And so I'm very excited about this. You know, the stats says that 91% of people do not stick to the New Year's resolutions. This is from Inc.com. 91% don't stick to it. And again, I like a lot of people go too extreme right away, and then they fall back and they go off their New Year's resolutions. So when trying to achieve your goals, research shows, like I talked about before, willpower is not enough. Again, I'm speaking from personal experience. This is from over 1,000 interviews on the show in the last decade of the School of Greatness from top performers. This is from research here and people citing this, right? So this is just not made up. Willpower isn't a skill. It's a muscle that gets tired the more you use it, right? So you've got to learn to manage it, and you've got to create a system and structure to support you doing hard things consistently. There are two types of goals, but one is more achievable than the other. I want to talk about the research here. A 2017 study at Stockholm University tracked over 1,000 students, resolutions who made two types of goals. We all know what these types of goals are: avoidance goals and approach goals. Avoidance is like, I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to stop eating sugar. I'm not going to drink as much. I'm going to get off social media 2 hours a day, whatever it is. I'm going to avoid something. Approach goals are doing something new, like exercise 5 times a week, or have a grain smoothie every single day, or I'm going to read 10 pages in a book, something that you're going to approach. The benefits of choosing approach goals: studies have found that approach goals were 25% more likely to stick than avoidance goals. So adding something positive is more powerful based on this study than trying to avoid something. Now, I'm not saying that you should not try to eliminate bad habits. I still think you should. But when you say, I'm going to replace it with something positive instead of avoid something, usually that tends to work a little bit better. So here's the thing. Most people don't have this. After 10 years of the School of Greatness podcast, interviewing some of the biggest celebrities, billionaires, world-class athletes, academics, New York Times best-selling authors, leaders of their field, musicians, artists, you name it. We've had a lot of different people on the show. If I could find a common denominator of all the people's accomplishing what they want in their life, they were very clear on their meaningful mission. This was step one. And most people are not clear. You know, fuzzy targets get fuzzy results. So if you cannot text me right now in the chat and say, in one sentence, with clarity of what your meaningful mission is, then it's going to be hard to accomplish it. So I would love for you to type in what your meaningful mission is. And it's okay if you don't know what that is right now. If you don't know what it is, that's completely okay. That's why we're here. We're here to work on this and figure this out. I will tell you mine. Mine is to serve 100 million lives weekly to help them improve the quality of their life. That's it. That's the mission that I'm on. This is the mission that Team Greatness is on. And there are mechanisms and delivery methods for how we work as a team to accomplish that mission. We do that through a podcast, through YouTube, through social media content, through books, through events. We do this through tools, teaching, and training to support people to improve the quality of their life. we're very clear on the mission. We're always flexible of the methods and the mechanisms to getting there. And we're developing a team of great individuals who are talented and who have great energy, attitude, and effort of accomplishing that mission. That's clear. It's very clear of what we're trying to do. It makes it easier for me to make decisions every day based on a mission. It makes me easier for me to get up every single day, even when I feel tired or like I don't want to, because I've got something greater than just me and my success on the line. I've got a group of people. I've got a community of people. I've got a mission that I'm inspired by. And a lot of people on their vision or dream board, they put success on the board. They put, more money, more homes, more this, more that. They put things that they want for themselves. And I want to talk about really quick before I move on to finding your meaningful mission, the difference between success and greatness. Most of my life, I wanted to be successful. I lived a very selfish life. It was about me and wanting to look good and wanting to be right and wanting to win and wanting to make money and all these different things. And there's nothing wrong with creating that for yourself. But what I realized is I never felt enough the more successful I became because I was always thinking about me. And what I learned is the difference between success and greatness is about we. It's about including your dreams, your success in the service of other people as well, not just in the service of you, but the service of others. That's when it is more renewable, more sustainable, more exciting, and more fulfilling. And so it's just a mental shift. But a lot of times we make decisions based on me because we want to fill ourselves up from something we're lacking. We lack security. We lack emotional stability. We don't feel confident in ourselves. I mean, again, thousands of you posted the lack of self-esteem, the lack of confidence, the insecurity, fear, doubt. You were saying these things. So there's nothing wrong with accomplishing and succeeding and winning and making money. Like all these things are okay. But if it's in the process of doing it because we feel insecure and we're trying to feel more secure, from my personal experience and from a lot of successful billionaires and athletes that I've interviewed who have been to the top and then it was never enough still, you've got to work on the inner game. You got to work on the fulfillment. You got to work on the insecurities yourself. Otherwise, you'll still feel insecure when you have those things. You'll actually feel more insecure and more scarce when you have something because then you'll be afraid you're going to lose it and you won't be enough. And so step one, we got to find a meaningful mission. It's got to be more than just me. It's got to be about we. Now, if you are like I was stuck on my sister's couch for about a year and a half, it's hard to think about we when you have no money, when you're in credit card debt, when you're struggling, when you're relying on other people. It's very hard to think about we. And there's seasons of our lives when we got to think about me. We got to take care of our basic needs. We got to take care of surviving and all those different things. So there was a season of my life, a couple of years, when all I thought about was me. I got to get off the couch. I got to make enough money to get my own apartment. I got to be able to pay off my credit card debt. So I think there are seasons where you focus more on me and making sure that you're taken care of. But I still believe during those seasons, you can say to yourself, how do I add value still? How can I be generous still with my kindness, my words, my affection to the people around me, my gratitude for support, so that you're including others in the process of that mission that you have in that time. So meaningful missions come and they can evolve based on the season of life you're in. But your meaningful mission starts where your heart is. And I love this story about the rock. Everyone knows a rock, so I'm going to tell this story just because it's an example I think a lot of people can relate to in terms of they know who he is. Again, he was once a young man who lacked mission and purpose. He got in trouble. He went to jail a bunch of times, and he was just trying to figure it out. He had fuzzy goals. And so therefore, he was going in different directions, causing some harm to himself and others. And he knew he wanted more with his life and more than just hanging out in an apartment and cleaning up scuff marks and doing jobs that he wasn't fulfilled by. So he got into wrestling, became the villain that everyone loves to hate. And that was a part of his mission for a long time, was being the best he could be in that and serving audiences in the way. And his mission has evolved as he's aimed for something bigger, which was Hollywood. You also got Nicole Lynn, the first female agent to represent a top NFL agency. When I had her on the show, she said your purpose needs to be the most important mission in your life. If you're not walking in your purpose, you're just working and living to die. And again, a lot of bad things happen when we're not clear on our meaningful mission. And your mission can be more than one thing. And again, it changes with experience and with time. When I was starting out, I was just trying to figure out, hey, how can I develop some skills? How can I get a job? How can I get off my sister's couch? How can I make a few bucks here and there? Let me try a bunch of different things because I don't know what I want. And when you're not clear on what you want, you got to try different things to see where you fit in, what lane you can go into. And that can always evolve over time. It evolved for me from teaching LinkedIn for many years to writing a book about LinkedIn to hosting 20 networking events around the country about LinkedIn to teaching about it on webinars for a few years and then realizing, okay, that's not where I want anymore. So it's creating a new vision for my life of what I want to create. And that evolved into writing multiple, books and bestsellers, starting the School of Greatness podcast. And after taking care of myself, saying, how can I start to take care of others? How can I include others in a bigger mission? That was exciting for me. So you got to ask yourself these questions and truly listen to what your heart desires. And you got to see what season of life you're in. If you are in a scarcity mode right now, a lack and total debt, and you're relying on everyone else just to survive, then you got to say, how can I get to baseline first? And if you can do it while asking these questions, even better. But I ask myself this and make sure I'm constantly in alignment with this. What lights me up? What gets me excited to get out of bed in the morning, knowing what I'm going to do the next day. If money were no object, what would I just love to do consistently, whether I made money or not? Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't do things to make money. You should. But what would you enjoy doing? When I started the School of Greatness podcast, I told myself for 1 year, I'm going to do this and I'm not going to try to make money. And I think that allowed me to see, do I actually like this? Do I actually enjoy it? Is it something fun? Would I do it anyways if money didn't come in? And that was a powerful thing. It was a powerful exercise that I practiced, and I realized how much I loved it. And for many years, the School of Greatness didn't make any money from the show itself. But I just loved doing it. It was the thing that I enjoyed the most. So I was willing to do it. I was willing to put in extra hours and time because I loved it. What would you do all day, every day? Again, if you didn't get paid, and what causes and experiences excite you? So are there companies out there that you're like, man, they're up to something cool. They're making cool software, and I want to get into that business. Is there a media company you want to get involved in? Is there a sports team you want to work for because you really feel an emotional connection to them? What is that mission or cause that you could be a part of in a bigger way, and start exploring that? Those are some of the questions that you can ask yourself to start discovering and figuring out, okay, what could my meaningful mission be if I'm not clear what I want right now? Again, if you don't have a one sentence definition of your meaningful mission, it doesn't mean something's wrong or bad. It just means the more clear you can get, the easier and better it will be to effectively take on your time and the activities of your day-to-day process. Again, The Rock loved football, he used his size to be physically active, and then he grew to the love of show business side of wrestling. And he continued to evolve. First, the mission was, how can I be the best football player I can be in college? Then, can I make the pro leagues? Then that didn't work out. And now I'm in a depression in the transition stage. Okay, well, I really like this wrestling thing because my dad was into it, so let me explore this. Then he realized he really loved it and he enjoyed it. And he said, let me take this as far as I can. And then he said, how can I transition? After, a decade of doing this, I actually want to entertain the world in a bigger way. So I did it in the wrestling world, and now I want to do it in movies to impact and inspire more people. And that's been kind of his process and his transition. Again, my first mission was getting off my sister's couch. Injured, had a full arm cast for 6 months, didn't know what I wanted to do. Cocky guy, thought I had it all figured out, thought I knew all the answers, resistant to pretty much everything, and just wanted to do it my way. And for a year and a half was struggled because of that, until I started to reach out to mentors and say, hey, teach me anything. I'll learn anything. I'll try stuff. I'll do anything you tell me to do. I'll work for free. I worked in a closet for 6 months during this time as well at one point with a mentor for free. I worked in a closet of a kitchen for 6 months, making phone calls, replying to emails, doing anything I could to get an hour of mentorship once a week. I remember that was my agreement with him, my mentor. I said, will you give me an hour of your time once a week so I can learn from you and ask you questions. And I said, I'll work for free. I did that for 6 months. And there was not enough space in the place. So I literally worked out of a kitchen closet. The closet wasn't even a full closet. It was about a 3-foot closet, small one that you just put your coats in and cleaning supplies. So they took the cleaning supplies and the coats out. They put a little tiny desk, but it wasn't like I could fit all the way in the closet. So I would stick out. So people would walk right behind me, maybe 6 inches away from me to get into the kitchen around the counter to get their food. So people were just coming and going behind me all day while I'm stuck in a closet. Now, this doesn't feel like the best situation and the most ideal thing, and I'm working for free and I'm not making money. But for me, I created a commitment where I was like, I'm going to do this for 6 months to learn. That was the season of life that I was in. I was willing to work for free. I was willing to do what it takes and not complain about not having the perfect setup because I didn't have really other options. And I needed to learn and develop based on a dream and a desire that I had to get off my sister's couch. And that was the goal. And once I started to develop new skills, I started trying stuff on my own. I wrote a book about LinkedIn because I was using that as a tool to connect with people to learn. Then after that, it kept evolving until I created the School of Greatness and came up with that mission about 10 years ago. And it's been evolving and transitioning ever since. So step 2 is to identify what's holding you back. And a lot of you already shared what's holding you back. You said my fear, my insecurities, self-doubt, self-esteem, traumas, all these different things. And this is probably the most self-aware community from a webinar that I've ever seen, because you guys have been so active in your comments and so open with your awareness. So I really appreciate that. I want to share with you the 3 barriers to greatness. Again, these are from all the different people that I've interviewed, kind of coming up with this framework of what holds people back. And I'm going to ask you, what fear holds you back the most here in a second. So stay tuned for that. I want to see what this is. But there's 3 fears that cause people to doubt themselves: failure, success, and judgment. And we'll get to the root of this here in a second. Failure. Most people are afraid of failure. When I ask a big room and an audience, they say they're afraid of failure. Go ahead and type in if you've ever been afraid to fail. Type in the chat right now if you've ever been afraid to fail. Type in me, yes, if you've ever in your life been afraid to fail. Okay. So I love the honesty. I love the commitment to this right here. You guys are all in. I love it. Most of the reason we don't do the things is we're afraid to fail. And I just made a decision one day that I was not going to do the things in my life because of fear. That was Sarah Blakely. She's one of the youngest female billionaires in the world. She created a company called Spanx. And it was funny because her father, when I asked her about how she was able to overcome this, because this is something that holds a lot of us back, she said her dad would ask her the same question every night at the kitchen table when they'd have dinner. What did you fail at today? And when she told me that, I was like, this is a beautiful thing that your dad did for you. He gave you a gift to talk about it and embrace it and to say, okay, cool, what did you fail at today? He actually wanted her to fail every day at something and realize that this is just the process. This is the process to like getting what you want. And the more you can accept the process that failure is going to happen at every level, then the easier it is to keep going when you fail. So I love that. And as an athlete, I just looked at failure as feedback. It was like, okay, we failed today. We lost the game. I dropped the ball. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it, but allowed me to say, all right, I got to get better. And here's some information, some data that's going to help me get better. And even if you didn't grow up with a parent who normalized failure and built your risk-taking muscles like Sarah, it's never too late to learn. And if you don't start learning now, it's going to always hold you back. Again, I'm going to give you guys a fear conversion toolkit. All you got to do is go to lewishowes.com/convert. When you go to that link, you can download this toolkit that's going to give you the step-by-step process to identifying your biggest fear, understanding why it's a fear of yours, and then how to embrace it and overcome it. So again, a lot of you said fear was one of the biggest things that holds you back from getting what you want. So this toolkit gives you the step-by-step process. Our team put this together, and it's going to support you in overcoming that. So I'm excited for you guys. This is, again, a free bonus, a free gift for you. All you got to do is click the link, go to the link, and download it. We'll put it in here as well, lewishowes.com/convert. Now, success is another thing. And I want to ask you guys your biggest fear here in a second once I break down each one of these. A lot of people have a fear of success. If you've ever been afraid of success, type in me right now so we can see that you're not alone. If you've ever been afraid of success. And then we're going to get to which one is your biggest here in a second. And I think you guys are going to be shocked to see the responses. So again, a lot of you typing in me, and I love the commitment and the action you guys are taking in the chat here. So why be afraid of success? For me, I always wanted to be successful. That's something I wanted, so I wasn't afraid of it, but I understood it once I started to ask these questions. You know, people are afraid of success because they don't know how to keep up the pace once they get there, how to keep up the pressure of being successful once you get to the top. Will I be able to handle that spotlight? You know, whether it be a spotlight with my friends and family or with a bigger audience. What if I achieve the success and I still don't feel fulfilled? Man, I felt that so many times from sports to business where I had dreams that I was driven to accomplish for years, would finally achieve it. And I was like, why don't I feel good still? Why don't I feel fulfilled? And we'll talk about that reason here in a few moments. What if I'm not good enough to succeed again? What if it was luck? What if it was a fluke? What if it was, a one-time thing? What if I don't feel worthy of success? How many of you have ever felt the feeling like, I don't know if I'm deserving and worthy of success? Like you want it, but deep down inside, you're like, but do I really deserve it? Am I really a deserving and worthy person of it? And again, I love the honesty here, and I love so many people just chiming in and saying yes, imposter syndrome, all these things. And so if you're unable to believe that you are worthy of success and you are afraid of it, why would success come to you? You're essentially emotionally, mentally, and psychologically pushing those opportunities away because you are saying, I am not deserving. I am not worthy. Do not come to me. Get away from me. And it may be part of the reason why these things aren't coming to you because you don't believe you're deserving. You've got to always come back to believing that this is something you are worthy and deserving of receiving. More money, more opportunities, more growth, deeper relationship, health, all these things. You know, some people don't believe they're worthy of being healthy, and therefore they stay, physically sick and unwell or obese because they don't believe they're worthy of being healthy. They don't believe they're worthy of having financial freedom, and therefore they make poor financial decisions that keep them stuck in emotional debt or scarcity mode. Same thing with relationships. They don't believe they're deserving of love and of intimacy. And so therefore they attract emotionally unavailable people who are unwilling to love them and accept them for who they are. That was me most of my life. I didn't believe I was lovable, and therefore I attracted certain relationships where the partners I attracted were unable to show that emotional love and vulnerability, the thing that I wanted the most. And so I had to learn how to heal and address these different things. I had to learn how to face them. And that was not fun. It's not fun to realize that, I was holding myself back for so long in my life. It's never fun to realize these things. But when I started to do it, and I let go of the shame and the guilt about my whole life of living a certain way around certain things, I said, okay, what can I do to better? And how can I mend these wounds? Then I started to really accept myself for who I was and attract people in my life who were in alignment emotionally, spiritually, career-wise, business-wise, and also intimate relationships. And that's the key. We just want to make sure we're surrounding ourselves with people that can accept us and support us and want to see us grow in the ways that we're excited about. So we got to make sure that we learn the art and science of feeling and believing worthy of success. You will squander it every time if it comes to you and you don't believe you're deserving of it. So that's a practice in itself. And again, what if I become successful and my friends don't like me anymore or my circle leaves me and things like that? That may happen, it may not happen. But if you're worried about it, then again, you'll always be playing small and you'll be holding yourself back from going after what you want in this life. This is your life. It's your opportunities. And you can't always be worried about what other people are thinking. So what I learned, again, from the research, asked a handful of people who recently had a rise to success. massive growth of followers online, more fame, more money, more opportunities coming their way than they had before, to rate themselves on a self-love scale from 1 to 10. And it's funny because the people who achieved a lot of success, a lot of fame, a lot of money, all of them that I asked this to, maybe there was one or two that maybe didn't say it this way, but most of them that I asked this to, from my memory, said that they had less self-love for themselves and less peace after they became more famous, made more money, and accomplished the goals that they were looking to do. And I thought that was fascinating to me because you accomplished what you wanted, right? You had this vision, this dream, this goal, and yet you were happier before you accomplished it. So this is a practice that people who are accomplishing success struggle with also. The art of accepting, loving, and having peace within themselves when success comes. So when you see this happening to others and they feel less than, they feel less love for themselves, less peace, and they feel more stressed, then why would you want to be successful? And so this is a practice and an art of learning how to grow. You don't grow into success. Success doesn't happen without growth. And if you're not willing to grow, then you're going to feel less than. Do you understand? So based on the people that I asked, they felt less than, felt less love, felt less peace when I would ask them this question, and yet they had more success. So we must be willing to grow internally as well as the success comes externally. And if we're not willing to do that, then people are going to feel less than, right? That's just what my experience has been of asking people who've accomplished success on this scale of what they've been telling me. And my own personal experience, when I accomplished more in the past and I still never felt it was enough, I just said, well, I need to make more, accomplish more, and keep doing it to feel better. But it's never going to feel enough unless I'm willing to grow, unless I'm willing to change and evolve as the universe is changing, evolving, and expanding. And so we must be willing to break free of certain things that hold us back from these insecurities and fears. And if we don't, then we're just going to struggle and suffer more. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to struggle and suffer more, but I think a lot of you came here because you want to have more peace, more freedom, more joy. Again, type in yes in the chat if you would like to accomplish your goals, live a more successful life, and feel more love, more peace, and more fulfillment in the accomplishments of them. And I'm seeing lots of yes, and I'm assuming, maybe I'm wrong, most of you want to succeed at your goals and feel loved, accepted, and fulfilled at the same time. You don't want to feel less than when you accomplish more. No one truly wants that, I don't think. And so I love seeing all your responses here. Big lesson. Be willing to change your definition of success as you pursue your meaningful mission. Before the Dr. Phil show, he had a company in trial sciences called CSI that he represented clients like Oprah. And after 15 years, he wanted a new challenge, and he started the Dr. Phil show. This is a lesson that I left from him. He was doing something for a long time that was successful, but he said, I want to have a deeper meaning and deeper impact on people based on the 15 years of experience that I have now and taking this into the world in a different way. So how does your vision want to change or evolve as you reflect on what lights you up inside? Again, different seasons of life requires you evaluating your vision, your mission, and seeing what you want to do. Go ahead and share in the chat if anything comes up for you there. And I'm going to share the final fear that holds a lot of people back, and this is the fear of judgment. This was the thing that held me back for most of my life. And it's the thing that will continue to creep in. You know, we all have a dominant fear, and I'm going to ask you which one is yours after I talk about judgment. We all have a dominant fear. And if we are unwilling to consistently work on it and hold ourselves accountable to it and grow and progress through it and create a different relationship with it, it will creep in at different times of new success. So every new success you reach or every new opportunity that comes your way, it could creep back in if you're not holding it accountable. And many of us are limited by the opinions of other people. You know, we limit ourselves based on what other people think about us, people judging us, people gossiping behind our back, and all these different negative self-talk of people around us. What if I launch a book and I get all these negative comments? What if my friends and family think I'm an idiot because I'm trying to do something new? What if my peers don't like what I'm doing? What if I post something on social media and it gets negative comments? Whatever it might be, the opinions of other people, the judgment, what people are saying to us in front of us, what people are saying to us online that we see, what people are saying to us behind our backs about us is a fear that a lot of people have. And it causes us to play small. It causes us to second guess, hold ourselves back, and it causes us to launch things perfectly so that there can be no judgment. But I'm telling you, perfection does not exist in a world of greatness. It's just not possible. You have to evolve and grow and make mistakes. There's no perfect athlete who plays perfectly every single day. They make mistakes constantly. There is no perfect company or app. Every app that you use probably on a daily basis, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp, none of those companies launched and had what they had right now at the beginning. They had a beta. They had a 1.0 version that probably wasn't that good. And they said, okay, well, here's one tool we like from this app. How do we make this better? How do we evolve this? How do we change it based on what people are saying they want feedback on? And they listened to their customers and their audiences, and they continued to evolve, grow, and change. That's how they survived and thrived. If these apps that we use today, again, Facebook, Twitter, the biggest apps in the world, if they did not evolve, grow, and change based on what people needed and wanted, they would not be around. Just like if we don't continue to evolve and change, we're probably not going to be creating the opportunities we want while having peace and fulfillment in our heart. And that's just a decision we've got to keep making. So you got to be asking yourself this: am I able to take on life knowing people are going to judge me for everything that I do, knowing that I'm never going to be perfect, knowing that I'm going to make mistakes? Can I still show up and do it, knowing people's opinions of me are going to be good sometimes, they're going to be nasty sometimes, they're going to like it sometimes, they're not going to like it sometimes? You've got to be willing to accept yourself, knowing that people will judge you in every which way possible. They'll say good judgments about you. They'll say nasty judgments about you. All these things are going to happen. How do I look? How do I sound? Are they going to like me? You want to know that one of the most common things that I hear at the end of every episode? The common things, let me see if anyone can guess. Of almost 1,400 episodes, 10 years, the biggest world champions, Olympic gold medalists, some of the richest people in the world, people who've exited companies for hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, people that own sports, franchises, owners of the NFL teams and NBA basketball teams that I've interviewed, from #1 New York Times bestsellers who sold tens of millions of copies of books, um, whatever, top artists musically in the world, activists, all these different things. You want to know what people say at the end of episodes? Most people, was that okay? Did I do okay? Ah, man, did it sound okay? Did I miss something? Like, there's always like and I'm like, dude, you're the #1 player in the world. You're the biggest billionaire in the world. You've written more books than anyone else. You've done that. You've done all these different things. You've got 20 million followers, and you're asking behind the scenes, was that okay? Was that okay for you? I'm a nobody for a lot of these people. I'm just a little podcast host for so many people, right? In terms of their minds at that level, they're probably like, who is this guy? And they're asking me, was I okay? Did man, I don't know about that part. Maybe I should have said it differently. I should have added something there. People are second guessing themselves left and right at the top. I'm telling you guys, they're second guessing themselves left and right. Not everyone. I'm not saying everyone is like that, but there are a lot of people that still have that little fear of judgment. Oh man, what's he going to think about me? What's his audience going to think about me? Is the School of Greatness audience, are they going to like it? Maybe they took it the wrong way. People have that fear. And there is definitely, it's good to have a sense of self-awareness and say, oh man, okay, I know I could be better, but not the fear of judgment. We're all not perfect. No one in the world will ever be a perfect human being. And the faster we can accept that and own it, and the faster we can say, okay, I know I'm going to be judged. Can I be okay with myself not being perfect? And can I just take it as information to improve. Not to say screw everyone, I don't care about the opinions of others. I don't think that's the way to go about it either, being super cynical and like defensive about everyone's opinions. Just saying, okay, does that opinion work for me? Does that support me in growing in any way? Can I learn from that? Oh, maybe I can. Maybe it doesn't work for me. Maybe it's just a nasty comment, and that's okay too. I don't have to take it personally. The Four Agreements has been a great book that has these four principles that helps you, and don't take things personally as one of them. So this was something I got out of a lot of these different people. People will judge you no matter what you do. If you sit on the couch and do nothing, like I did for a year and a half, I wasn't doing nothing, but I wasn't really doing something magical or inspiring or whatever. I was just trying to figure out my life. If you're on your couch and you're in transition, people are going to judge you. If you're chasing your dreams, people are going to judge you. Either way, you're going to be judged. So you might as well focus on what you love and being of service, because service is a renewable energy. Service is fueling. It serves others and it serves you. It might be actually the most selfish thing, but selfish in a good way, because I don't know anything else that gives me more energy and fulfillment than helping other people. I don't. More than helping myself, I don't get more fulfillment than that. When you help someone else, you realize that you were here for a reason, to add value, and you added value to someone today. That might have been with a smile, that might have been with opening a door, that might have been just answering a question, listening to someone. It doesn't have to be some crazy over the top thing of adding service. Every day I get to sit down and ask people questions. That's a service that people appreciate. At least hopefully a lot of them do. Maybe I don't do a good job sometimes and they don't like it. But most of the time, you can just show up and smile and listen. And that's a way of being of service. And it's fulfilling to you because you helped someone in that day, in that moment. And that's a beautiful thing. And it's renewable. You can never get tired of that. But when we only do it and we aren't taking care of ourselves, and we are abandoning ourselves, and we are only giving to others, but we don't give to us, that is not being of the highest level of service, because then you're not authentic to the highest version of yourself. You're discounting yourself. You're draining your time and energy, and that doesn't work. That's not sustainable. So you've got to be willing to take care of you first so you can serve abundantly to others second, if that's the life you want to live. Again, that's, for me, what's brought me a lot of peace and fulfillment. And the people at the top that I've interviewed, that's what brings them fulfillment. It's not when it's just about them and looking good and being at the top. So either way, we're going to be judged. And I want to ask you, let's bring it to me for a second. I want to ask you, of the three, be honest. Which one is your dominant fear? The fear of failure, the fear of success, or the fear of judgment? Go ahead and type it in right now. Your dominant fear. I'm seeing it all over the place. Success, judgment, failure. For some reason, I'm seeing a lot of judgment in there. Maybe because I spoke about my personal experience there longer, but all of them. Someone said all three. And so I appreciate, again, your guys' honesty. And it's just about a reflection period of being aware. Because I don't know how to take action and be okay with the results you get without learning how to manage and navigate the fears so they don't cripple you. Because otherwise, it still will never feel enough. You'll never feel like, okay, I need to make more, earn more, jump my career more, and increase my salary more, and do this more. But then if it still doesn't feel good enough, then you're like, what's the point of this? So the step 3 is taking action. Reflecting back is a great start to moving forward. That's why I wanted to do this in this presentation. As we start this new season of life, this new chapter that you all are in right now, you're here for a reason. You want to get clear on your goals. You want to learn how to accomplish your goals. And a lot of people give strategies and tactics for productivity. That doesn't work if you still have fear and insecurity. Yes, you can push the needle on things more, but when you accomplish it and you still don't feel like you're enough, then you're just right back to this point. So we must start with the reflection phase so we can start taking action. And ask yourself, where did you fall short last year? What is the thing that was a familiar pattern that kept happening last year that you no longer want to fall short on? Maybe you weren't consistent with your goals around your health, your relationships, or whatever it might be. So you want to be aware of that thing first. Then you want to think about also what wins can you celebrate? Because I think a lot of people, I've been to blame in the past, don't celebrate their wins. And even if you don't accomplish your biggest goals, you still have a lot of big wins. Maybe you had some tough conversations with people over holidays that you really didn't want to have with friends and family, but you gave yourself the courage to say, you know what, I'm going to have this uncomfortable conversation. I'm going to do it. And in the middle of it, it didn't feel good, but in the end, it brought you closer together, or you got clear. Maybe you said, you know, I finally paid off that credit card debt, or just at least got it in motion. I started like figuring out the plan and I'm doing the payments. Like that's a win. It doesn't mean you have to, make millions of dollars. You can be moving things forward and that's a win. Go ahead and type in some of these wins right now. I just want to see some of them on the wins that you had. And while you're sharing that, I'll share some of our highlights from Team Greatness. We have different things that we can celebrate in terms of the impact. Our mission is to serve 100 million lives weekly. So we like to track and measure how we are doing that. Our audio presence, almost 90 million audio downloads by itself, right? Our YouTube impressions, I think we had almost 100 million views on YouTube. So all of our kind of social media impressions, 600 something million impressions based on all these platforms, almost 100 million on audio, LinkedIn, 177 million views on our content there. And so these are just ways that we can celebrate. Okay, our team has done an amazing job of producing content, of curating content, of marketing content, of writing content, of doing these things to help people with these tools and trainings to serve people, to improve the quality of their life. And so we get to celebrate that. And our team has done an amazing job of making this happen last year. They've grown, they've shown up, they've learned new skills, they've overcome challenges and adversities individually, personally, and as a team. They've come together. We did a team event, team retreat. We had a summit of greatness. We did all these different things where they got to connect and develop and learn and grow and impact and serve. And you got to celebrate these things. You got to acknowledge these things. It's important for you to be aware of how much you're showing up daily, monthly, yearly, and celebrate the wins. You can't just keep pushing for the next thing and never thinking it's enough. It's the process that's really been a beautiful part of our experience as well. So I want to ask yourself, how are you building a system of taking action daily to support your best year yet? And do you have a system in place? For 10 years, School of Greatness has been around for 10 years. I want to celebrate that also. Next week is the 10-year anniversary. It's been every week consistently showing up. 10 years, every week, showing up and doing and posting an interview. Most people don't want to do the same thing every week for 10 years. But when you have a mission that you're excited about, for me, it's fulfilling even when it's the same type of thing every week of sitting down and doing an interview. It never gets old for me because I'm always getting to interview someone new. And I'm always learning and growing, and that's exciting for me. So if you don't have a system of taking action, then it's going to be challenging moving forward. So you got to think about what will it take to take action on the breakthroughs that you want to have? What is it going to take to make that happen? That is really step one, is taking action. We've got the action board, which is the dream board that you're going to take action on. We've identified that you've got to get clear on your meaningful mission and figure out which one of these three fears holds you back. And then we realize we got to take action. Now, again, this may not seem like anything new or some massive breakthrough that I'm sharing with you today. Figure out what your fears are, overcome them, get clear on your mission, and take action. But for whatever reason, we also know probably what to eat every day and how to work out every day and how we should move our bodies, but we still don't do it. We need the reminders constantly, and we need systems at the right seasons of life that work for us to be successful. And that's what this is. You came here for a reason because you realize certain things haven't been working at the highest level for you. Maybe there's lots of things that are working, but you want more. You want to feel a different experience internally, and you want to create a different environment externally. And so you came here because you wanted to learn, I just need to shift. I need to mix things up. I need to learn something new. Let me see if Lewis has something to say today. And I'm hoping that this is supporting you because, again, this is 10 years of research. This is 10 years of finding the inspiring lessons from some of the greatest people of all walks of life. And then us doing even more research to saying, how can we find the studies that back these personal experiences? And then us creating the process and the tools for you to take a step-by-step approach and make it simple to understand. The hard thing is taking the action on overcoming it. So here are the 4 things, again, that we talked about. Number 1, lack of meaningful mission is hurting you from getting what you want. Fuzzy targets get fuzzy results. Clear targets will support you in getting clear, exceptional results. That's a simple principle that we all know, but sometimes we forget because we're just not sure of what to do. And that's okay. I've been there before. Fear of failure, fear of success, and judgment. When you identify which one, and some of you said all of them was a fear of yours, which is, I've been there at different stages, so I can relate and understand. But this is the thing that usually holds a lot of people back, is not being clear on their meaningful mission and allowing one of these fears to hold them back. When you can practice these 4 keys to help cultivate a greatness mindset, when you can implement the meaningful mission, and I'm going to talk about exactly step-by-step on how to do each one of these, it's going to support you in having that greatness mindset. And that is our goal for you today. Where do we go from here? What is the next step? What can you do to start taking action on the things you want and getting clear and really creating what you want from that dream board, that vision board for this year? Now, some of you have been listeners for years. Some of you just started listening to the School of Greatness recently. Either way, it's all there for free. I give it for free. We give this for free. We've been giving it for free for 10 years. And you can learn what I learned from interviewing hundreds of influential guests, over 2,000 hours of podcasts and content, or we've put it together in what I wish I had 10 years ago, which is a book that supports me in getting clarity on all these things. And so I want to announce to you the Greatness Mindset. This is the book I wish I had 10 years ago, the book I wish I had 20 years ago, and the book that I'm glad I have now, because it gives me so much more clarity after 10 years of interviews. 10 years of mistakes in my own life, 10 years of wishing I could have done better and beating myself up and insecurities in different areas and lessons and growth, 10 years of practical application, 10 years of incredible wins and success as well, and 10 years of service of our mission of impacting 100 million lives. We're impacting lives on a consistent basis. We put together as a team the ultimate guide that, again, I wish I had. This is the book that I wish I had personally when I was struggling trying to figure this out, because it breaks it down chapter by chapter on how to get clear on your meaningful mission. That is chapter 3, getting clear on your meaningful mission. We break it down step by step, exactly what you need to do with examples and science-based research. Then, if fear of failure is your thing, the next chapter is all about overcoming the fear of failure. Step 1, mastering and overcoming the fear of failure. Then we go into success. Then we go into judgment, showing you why emotionally and psychologically that may be your failure. We give you multiple exercises and questions to ask yourself to support you in figuring out and identifying it. Then it's all about creating your greatness goals and greatness game plan. We walk you through step by step where you can create clear targets for your life and really master those targets by overcoming these fears. So make sure to go to lewishowes.com/TGM 2023 right now. I want you guys to pre-order copy. I want you to get a copy right now. And when you do, we're going to give you a bunch of bonuses to support you for getting it right now. And getting it before the book comes out. The book is coming out very soon, so it'll be shipping it to you soon. But I want you to go to lewishowes.com/TGM 2023. And I'm going to tell you some more stuff here, why I think this is going to be a game changer for you. Again, the Greatness Mindset shows you how to unleash your greatness by clarifying who you are, discovering your meaningful mission, and stepping into how you can make an authentic, unique contribution in the world. And let me ask you this. Some of you may not want to make a contribution to other people, and that's fine if that's not your path. But if you're interested in creating a life where you can use your talents and gifts to also help others and serve others, then type in me right now in the chat if that's something that you aspire to do in the future. Maybe that's not right now, that's not your season, that's okay. But if that's something you want to do, you want to use your talents and gifts to create a rich life for yourself and serve and empower people around you, then type in me. Again, seeing a lot of service-based people here, which is what I love. This is why I love this community, because that's what for me is fulfilling. That's what for me can help people. And that's what for me can support you as well in overcoming the things that you're doing as well. Again, I want to call out two things really quick. When you sign up for this, you're going to get $376 in free bonuses if you sign up for this right now. Right now, if you sign up for this, you're going to get early access to the Greatness Mindset. You're also going to get a masterclass with myself. And this masterclass is going to be extremely powerful. I'm going to share and reveal some personal things about business, personal branding, and growth. You're going to get exclusive access to my private launch team to be a part of the community helping launch this book. And you're going to get a copy of the Millionaire Morning ebook and audiobook. So $376 in free bonuses when you sign up right now at lewishowes.com/TGM2023. Also, if you are a VIP attendee of this right now and you've paid and invested in coaching right after this training, which is going to happen very shortly, you are also going to get a surprise bonus gift. We didn't tell you guys about this. You're getting a surprise that we're going to give you a copy of the Greatness Mindset. So we're going to send you a copy of this as well if you've already signed up for VIP coaching right after this webinar. So again, when you signed up for VIP, you didn't know you were going to get this, but we're going to give you that as a bonus as well, that we're going to be shipping this out for you also. I'm seeing Amy Morgan. Thank you very much. So yes, and if you are signed up for VIP, you're also going to get these bonuses as well. So that is something we're excited about. But I want you to go to lewishowes.com/TGM2023 right now. Go ahead and open it up into a new browser, whether you're on your phone or whether you're on your computer. It's going to take you right to Amazon, and you can go from there, click on the Amazon or Barnes & Noble link to buy it, and it'll take you right there. If you could do this for me right now, it would be a huge support. It would help me in a lot of ways, and it'll help me get the message out there in a big way. We're trying to get this up massive on Amazon right now, so if you click on it, go there, pre-order it right now, and then all you got to do is go back to this link, lewishowes.com/TGM2023, type in the reference number, your name and email. That'll get you all the bonuses right there. So one thing I want you to do right now, if you can, is go and pre-order a copy of this book right now. Again, if you do it right now, you're going to get all these bonuses. All you have to do is submit the order number. We're going to give you all those bonuses for free for just taking one action today. And that is for signing up for this book, pre-ordering it, and supporting yourself and really supporting us and getting the message out there. This is the greatest book that we have created of our 3 books. I'm the most proud of this, of any piece of work that I've done. This is the book that I think is going to support a lot of people because it's supporting me. It's helping me get clear. It's helping me get clear what I want to create moving forward. And I truly believe I wish I would have had this 10, 15, 20 years later, because I was chasing a lot of the wrong things in my life to fill up something that I was lacking, that I was missing, that I felt like I was insecure about. And none of those things gave me what I wanted to feel when I would achieve them. And so I wish I would have just had someone to get clear on how to create this so that I could have actually had the actions and the lessons and the growth that would have supported me when I felt like I wasn't good enough, when I felt like I wasn't deserving, wasn't worthy, all those different feelings. And I know a lot of you have typed that in, that you don't feel worthy or deserving of success. And I'm telling you that you are, but we've got to learn how to believe it. We've got to learn how to navigate that and manage that feeling of unworthiness. And if you can get to the place of fully accepting yourself, fully loving yourself, not saying that you're going to be a finished product and you've got all the answers, but getting to a place of peace about the decisions you've made in your past, where you're at currently, and not beat yourself up. We talk a lot about how to be a great coach to yourself in the book, the strategies for coaching yourself, as opposed to being a critic. The people around you are going to gossip about you. They're going to criticize you. They're going to do it behind your back. They're going to do it publicly. They're going to leave nasty reviews online. They're going to say nasty comments about what they don't like, what they do like. You've already got enough critics around you. And that's not going to stop the more you go after what you want. People are going to judge you either way, whether you're doing something you like or you're not. But you being a critic to you beating yourself up, this is something I did for too many years, does not support you, does not serve you. You coaching yourself and saying, hey, you shouldn't have done that. What can we do better next time? It's coaching yourself in a positive way with positive feedback as opposed to negative criticism. You're going to do yourself a lot of damage internally if you're in this negative criticism constantly. We talk about the process of that and so many other things. This is honestly, I'm not making this up. This is honestly everything I wish I would have had when I was getting started at 21, reinventing myself at 30, going through breakdowns at 35 and 36. And now as I go into 40 very soon, I'm so grateful for this because I need simple clarity. I need to have a practice that I can understand. When things are too advanced for me, it's too complicated and I just give up. So I made this as simple as I could so that my 12-year-old self could understand this and my 40-year-old self can understand this. So this is the book, again, that I wish I had. If you can go and pre-order this right now, the goal would be to help us get this to, top 100 on Amazon today. If you can pre-order it, pre-order 2-3 copies and give them to friends if you think it'll be valuable. Again, I think it's, I don't know, 20, 25 bucks on Amazon right now. You're going to get $300+ in bonuses by just submitting this right now. It would mean the world to me. And I'm seeing a ton of people, if you've already pre-ordered it, go ahead and type in ordered so I can see who has pre-ordered it. I'm seeing a lot of people type it in right now. So thank you guys so much. I can't see your names because there's so many people posting right now, but it means a lot to us. Again, our mission at Greatness Media and School of Greatness is to serve 100 million lives weekly. It's to impact lives. We believe this book is an opportunity to get our message out there in a bigger way. So again, make sure to pre-order 1 copy right now and then refresh on Amazon to see where we're at. If we can break the top 100 today, I think it'd be a powerful moment for us. The link is lewishowes.com/TGM2023 to submit the receipt of your pre-order. Again, spend 25 bucks and you're gonna get a few $100s in bonuses. So make sure to do that right now. Getting a lot of people saying they're ordering, and you can go right to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and get it right there. I want to ask you, as people are pre-ordering right now, and I'm seeing a lot of people are still doing this. Brittany, thank you. Ian, thank you. Kamiko, thank you. Gloria, thank you for pre-ordering. Melissa, Tara, April, thank you so much. Again, pre-ordered. Amy, so many of you are pre-ordering right now, so I'm so grateful and appreciative of it. I want to ask you a question. As people are pre-ordering, I'll stick around here for a few more minutes, and then we're going to go into our VIP coaching after this. But as you all are pre-ordering, Patrice, Javier, Ellie is in the process of pre-ordering. Jennifer, you said you're pre-ordering on Amazon. Thank you. Tatiana, Jade, Ro, Jackie, Paula, Carissa, just got it, said Anna, Jen, Niels. Thank you so much. As you guys are ordering right now, I'd love for you, once you pre-order, to type in that you ordered it, and then also to tell me the biggest reflection from today, the biggest takeaway so far. And maybe you already knew all of this. I'm not saying that I've got all the answers and I've figured out something new. I've just learned a lot from all these great people and tried to package it in a way that I can understand it and hopefully you can understand it if something doesn't make sense. So that's been my intention. In no way am I the guy who has all the answers. I've interviewed a lot of smart people, and as a team collectively, we put together this package to support you in just having the process to understand and navigate what you're going through in your life. And there are thousands of people here, and a lot of you said that you had fear, failure, success, judgment, you had insecurities, self-doubt, all these things that were holding you back. This is the book to rid yourself of self-doubt. This is the guide, the tools to support you in overcoming that process. You've got to do the work. You can read the book and get no results if you don't take any action. So the book is worthless unless you're willing to actually have the courage to have tough conversations. Be consistent with the things you know you need to do. And over a period of time, you'll start to see different results. But this is just a process and a guide to supporting you. But at the end of the day, This is a game that we got to play. We got to show up and deliver for ourselves. We got to have the courage to have the conversations that are challenging. We got to have the courage to look ourselves in the mirror and say, did I do something stupid today? Could I have done it better? Okay, let me see what I can do better tomorrow. We got to have the courage to know that, you know what? Some of my eating habits aren't helping me. What can I do to step up a little bit? You know, some of the relationships I'm in right now, the friendships I have, maybe I just don't vibe with that anymore. You know, the conversations we have or the activities we're doing. Maybe I got to start having those conversations with friends and say, what can we do differently? Or start looking to add new people into my life that are more aligned to my most authentic self, the highest version of myself. And that's what this is about. It's about a journey of discovery. It's about a journey of constantly facing ourselves. I face myself constantly. And it doesn't always feel good to look myself in the mirror and say, man, was that really the best thing I could have done? Could I have done that better? It doesn't always feel good. But once you face it consistently and you improve, it's going to feel a lot better. So I'm seeing a lot of people. I'd love to see your biggest takeaway from this. I see someone take like 10 pages of notes. Danielle Hetware, thanks for all the notes you're posting in here. DJ, thank you for pre-ordering. So Erica's saying, I love what you're doing, but I need help one-on-one. Getting a one-on-one coach is extremely helpful. I've got a lot of them. Frederick says, the meaningful mission part was great. Also, what type of fear is holding you back? Getting clarity. Amber said, I truly appreciate everyone's honesty here today. And I love that too. I think it's really cool, the honesty that people are bringing here, because I think a lot of people lack the ability to be able to be honest. Because again, I've been there. We're afraid. We want to look perfect. We want people not to judge us. We don't want to be looked at as less than or weak or whatever it is. But as I've learned over the years, vulnerability is a extreme superpower. And being honest with yourself and others is extremely powerful. It's empowering. When we lie, when we hold back, when we self-criticize, it's disempowering to you and the people around you. You playing small does not serve you, does not serve the reason you're here on this earth. And you discounting yourself is discounting your creator. You're discounting your reason of existence. I did that for many, many years of my life, and it hurt me. But it's not the time to discount yourself anymore. Now is the time to empower yourself. And empower yourself with good intentions, with good thoughts, and good conversations. And I'm telling you, winter is not gone. Winter is going to come back. It's going to happen again. And the more you can lean into overcoming these insecurities and fears now, the more empowered you will be the next time adversity happens. Let me tell you guys a quick story, as I'm hearing a lot of these comments coming in right here. I remember in 2007, 2008, when I got injured playing football. Again, I have this scar here. Now, you probably won't be able to see it here, but I got a scar here on my wrist. I got a scar on my hip. They cut open my hip and they chiseled out with a hammer a bone from my hip and put it in my wrist. And for 6 months, I was in this cast. It was miserable as an athlete to not be able to use your body and not be able to move. But at least I had an arm and at least I had a leg to use, right? So I had to have perspective at the same time. But for me, it was very challenging in that transition. And it was even more challenging because it was 2007, 8, and 9. And if you guys remember that time, the economy was very bad. People weren't hiring at the time. People were stressing out about money like you'd never seen before. People losing their homes left and right. People getting cut from their jobs, etc. These last 3 years have felt like that again. And I remember at that time, I was 23 at the time, maybe 24, going into 24. I remember at the time saying to myself, never again, when winter comes, will I not be prepared. And I felt physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially prepared in most ways. But I still had fears I had to overcome. I still had to deal with stuff in relationships that I hadn't faced, all these different things that held me back. And I was prepared in lots of ways, but I still have lots of room for growth. No one is perfect. No one's ever going to be perfect, and that's okay. It's not what it's about. But here's what I will say is these next couple of years are going to continue to be up and down. Maybe there's some relief, but then there's going to be challenge and pain. And I just want you guys to be prepared emotionally, mentally, financially, and spiritually for it. That's my intention for you. I want you to have the tools, the training, to support you. That's what we're here as Team Greatness to do, to support and empower you to doing the best you can do when winter is here, when things are good, and everything in between. So that is our goal. That is our mission. I hope you experience that and feel that from this training. Again, this is a free training. We're not here selling you some $2,000 program or anything like that. We're saying, hey, we wanted to put this together to get you guys a $25 book. And we hope that you got so much value for free from this experience that you'll go and you'll invest 25 bucks in a book that literally gives you the step-by-step approach to getting clear on your meaningful mission, to identifying which one of these fears causes you to doubt yourself the most. That is huge. If you can identify and then create the process of overcoming it, it will set you up for a lifetime of peace and freedom if you know that tool and you can keep mastering that tool. It's something you've just got to keep mastering. I've got to do it. We've all got to do it. Then it gives you how to create the exact action plan to overcome these fears and the greatness game plan for your goals. That's what it gives you in this book. It's not some groundbreaking new science and research, but it's 10 years of science and research and personal practices put together in a simplified book to support you when times are challenging and tough. You don't need a challenging book to read to try to learn and understand. You need to be as simple as possible so you can take action and overcome the thing that holds you back. So again, someone said they don't want to wait till March, they want it now. Yes, it's coming out March 7th, but my goal is for you to pre-order this today. If you got any value out of this today, if you got any connection from this today, if you even just appreciated seeing everyone be so open in the chat and you got to learn that you weren't alone in your fears today, if you got some content that our team put together and you value what Team Greatness did to support in this training today, and you want to support me, and if you appreciated the podcast, all I'm asking is to get at least one copy of the book. If you want to get 3, 5, 10, 20, 50, awesome. Do it. If you have friends, family members that you think would be supportive of this guide and this practice, then get a few copies as well. It would mean the world to me. We're trying to get this out there to as many people as possible. And I'm so grateful for everyone here right now. Again, we have a VIP coaching session coming up right after this. And if you haven't signed up for VIP, this is where I'm going to stay on. Some members of Team Greatness are going to stay on. And then all of you are going to be able to come on, live on your videos to watch. And I'm going to be fielding questions. I'm not going to be able to get to everyone's questions because we got a ton of people in there, but I'm going to be diving in deeper. I'm going to be sharing more personal stories. I'm going to be answering some specific questions you guys have. And you're going to have access to that recording as well for that coaching masterclass. We only do a couple of these a year, guys, where I come on and coach. So I'm going to add some more value there to you guys as well. And you get some more bonuses when you sign up for that VIP. So if we have the link for VIP, lewishowes.com/MrVIP. So if you can go to that, it's right here in this last slide as well. lewishowes.com/MrVIP. Again, we're going to have this private VIP coaching experience with me here in just a few minutes. All you got to do, you get a free bonus gift. As a thank you for becoming a VIP member, you receive a free copy of The Greatest Mindset as well. So again, my intention is for you to buy a copy right now, and then we'll also ship you another copy later. So you get 2 copies at least. Buy 1, 3, 5, or 20, and then we'll also give you an extra one. And you're also going to get over $376 in bonuses. Go to lewishowes.com/MrVIP right now to be a part of the coaching experience happening right after this. Again, we wanted to do this free training, the 4 keys to overcome your fears and achieve your biggest goals, to support you in your journey this year. Thousands of you registered. I think we had almost 15,000 registered. Thousands of you have been on, which means that you want to get clarity. And that's awesome. And I really acknowledge you for showing up. I acknowledge you for saying, hey, I want to learn. I want to learn something new, and or maybe just relearn something that I already know. Either way, I acknowledge you for investing the time, the energy in this free training. We're not here to sell you some $2,000 program or anything like that. We're here to offer up an investment in a $25 book to support you in your goals this year and clarity, and to have a guide that can support you anytime you feel insecure, afraid of failure, success, judgment, doubting yourself. This is the guide to help rid you of self-doubt. And I believe self-doubt is the killer of dreams. And that's why I've been so passionate about working on this book. Really, for the last 5 years, I've been doing the research intensely on this specific book because after 5 years of interviews on the School of Greatness, I realized that self-doubt was the thing that held people back the most. Yes, you need the practices and the tools on how to make money and sell and writing and communication styles and master your health and have better relationships and intimacy. Yes, but the thing that holds us back from doing all those things, the root is self-doubt. That's the thing that causes us to play smaller, doubting ourselves. And the three main causes of self-doubt are the fear of failure, success, and judgment. So when we can answer that thing inside us, what causes us to doubt ourselves, I'm telling you, life will feel richer, more peaceful, more loving, more abundant, and opportunities will flow. You will grow in ways that you'd never imagined you'd be able to. And this is from my own personal experience, from interviewing a lot of the top people in the world and having friendships with people in the world that I highly respect who are doing things at a high level in different industries around the world. That's been my experience. And I want to serve you in giving you that tool. So make sure you pre-order the Greatness Mindset, unlock the power of your mind, and live your best life today. And also get on the VIP coaching program right now. We're going to be moving there in a couple of minutes. I want to ask one more time. Again, you have the free, just for being here, we're going to give you a free download for the conversion toolkit. We've got the link. We can put the link back up in the chat for people. So again, we want to just give you that free gift for just showing up, serving you, giving back, being a contribution. That's what we're here to do at Team Greatness, be of service. Our team has done a great job. You can see Jamie just put that in the chat right there. So you've got a copy of the Greatness Mindset. Please pre-order the book today. If there's one request that I have all year of you is to pre-order this book right now and support this cause and this mission with us. You can sign up for VIP to get coaching with me. Some of the members on our team will be there here in just a few minutes at that link. And then the Fear Conversion Toolkit to support you. If you don't want to be a part of VIP, if you don't want to pre-order a book, we're still going to give you that toolkit as a guide for you. Just thank you and appreciate you. We understand some people, you may not have the ability to invest right now, and that's completely fine. We want to make this for free also as a resource for you and give back. I'm seeing a lot of you downloaded the Fear Conversion Toolkit. And again, if you can't make the VIP, we will record it. If you want to sign up, we will record it and we'll send you the recording of the VIP as well. Let me ask you one more thing. I see Kimberly just joined the VIP. If you're joining the VIP or you've already signed up, then type in me or type in VIP right now. If you're about to join or if you've already signed up, just so I can see. A lot of you already signed up, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I see you guys. I'm excited for you guys. I appreciate you for, again, showing up and wanting to get additional coaching. So I see a lot of people saying VIP. Very cool. And I will leave you with this as we're going to take in a moment, we're going to take about a 5-minute break, and then you should have the link in your email for VIP. Or Jamie, if you want to type in how people are going to get access to the VIP after this, so people are aware. But if you signed up, you should have a link to a Zoom that will take you to the VIP right when we are done with this. But I want to leave you with this. I want to leave you with this final thought for today. Again, my intention for you right now is to go pre-order this book. Go to Amazon, pre-order this book right now. I saw a ton of you guys have already done it, and I want you to do that right now. That's my only ask. Go pre-order this book right now on Amazon and come back and get $300 plus worth of bonuses by going through this link and following these steps. So that's my ask for you today. And I want to remind you that whether you do it or not, I'm just grateful for you. I'm grateful for you showing up. I'm grateful for you taking action on yourself, taking notes down, and hopefully you got some information today that will support you. If you did get some information or value today, make sure to post it over on your Instagram story and tag me so I'm aware that you were here and I can, see that you were a part of this and say hi. Maybe I'll try to say hi to a few of you guys over there as well. Just show some appreciation and love for you today over there. And I just want to remind you that you showing up for yourself, whether it's this, listening to a podcast for free, watching YouTube content that is supportive, investing in a program or meditation retreats, all these things I feel like are very beneficial. And so I just want to acknowledge you for showing up today and saying, hey, I want to learn something new and be a part of this community. Very grateful that you are a part of this community. If you don't listen to the School of Greatness yet, then I highly recommend you check out the School of Greatness podcast. This is, one of the top podcasts in the world. We've been around for 10 years. So you can check it out there. Click the subscribe button on your phone, and we've got great content every week there for you. So go there, click the subscribe button, and if you appreciated this even more, then you can also leave a review. That would mean a lot to me as well. If you don't want to buy a book, go leave a review on the School of Greatness. Again, you can check it out right here, School of Greatness, and leave a review over on Apple Podcasts, and let me know what you think there. We've got weekly content to support you and serve you with some of the top experts in the world over there. If you just want to keep going down that path over on the School of Greatness, we've got a daily motivation show that'll support you with 5 to 10 minute clips as well. And again, if you want to buy more books, I've seen some of you say that, hey, are there any bundle packages if I buy 100 books or 200 books? Do I get any other stuff? There is a bundle package. So for those that want to buy more copies and give them away to your communities or your friends or your families, if you go to lewishowes.com/bundle, you'll see access to that. And we've got the link right there also. So if you go there to the bundle, you'll see access to that in the link. There it is, bundles. So here it is. Again, if you want 10 copies, if you want 40 copies, if you want 100 copies or 250 copies, we're doing a day-long retreat with me for anyone that buys 100 copies, where you get a day of coaching with me and about 50 other people here in Los Angeles. So if that's something that's interesting to you, I saw someone that says, hey, I want more coaching. If you buy 100 copies right now, we've got a date happening in about a month and a half, I believe it is, 2 months, where we will have people in LA for a full day with me, some special guests, where I'll be coaching and breaking down lots of things about mindset, business, branding, etc. 250 copies, you'll get the full day, plus you'll get a private dinner with me. So again, if you go to lewishowes.com/bundle, you can get access to that right now. And make sure to check that out. And I see Ali Wester saying, what's the date? If you email support@schoolofgreatness.com, we'll get you access to all that details and information. But just let us know if you are interested, and we'll get you all signed up for that. So again, I want to leave you with this final thought. And the thought is this: I'm grateful for you. I appreciate you. Thank you for showing up and taking the time to learn something new today. I learn something new every time that I get to present, that I get to teach. I learn something new about myself. And the more I teach what I'm learning from the guests I have on, the more it becomes a part of me, and it's something I get to constantly practice. So again, thank you for being present, showing up during, our technical glitches. I think it's a perfect practice. Our mic didn't work at one point. You guys were like, where's the audio? And again, nothing we do will ever be perfect all the time. There's going to be glitches in life, and sometimes there's going to be dark, dark winters. And my goal for you, my intention, my hope is that you support yourself enough to rid yourself of insecurities and doubt that will cause you to react when winter happens, that will cause you to be distracted when there's adversity. And I told myself in 2008 that never again, when the economy broke down, when winter came, when there was some world crisis, would I fall back into scarcity. And during 2020, 21, 22, we said we are going to lean into this. How can we help people more? How can I double down on my health? How can we built our team when adversity struck? We invested in more people and done things we'd never done before. And I said, okay, we got to get out of our comfort zone as leaders. How do we grow our team? How do we invest in our team? How do we hire more people? How do we, lean in as opposed to shrink down? And again, I want you, when the next winter comes, because it's just a little bit of a pause right now. It's still pretty dark, but we're kind of like familiar with it. but it's about to happen over the next few years. We don't know what it's going to be. It could be a war, another pandemic. Who knows what's going to happen? But you all know, based on what you see in the news, that something is going to happen at some point. It's inevitable. And maybe it's not in a few years and it's in 5 years. Whatever it is, I want you to be ready and prepared. I want you to have the tools, the support, the community, the coaching to guide you through that process. That's what I did for myself. In 2008, I said I'm going to hire coaching, accountability, have the tools, invest in myself, grow, go to workshops, go to meditation retreat, whatever it is, I'm going to try it and support myself. Even when I didn't feel like it, I kept showing up. Keep showing up for you, and good things are going to happen. Again, I'm very grateful for you guys. Thank you so much for showing up. I love everyone that's still pre-ordering right now. Again, please pre-order the book, get the bonuses. If you haven't signed up for VIP, go sign up right now. And I'll see you guys in about 5 to 7 minutes in the VIP. See you soon. Good to see you guys here. And just there's going to be more people joining here soon, but just wanted to say thanks to you guys for showing up today. I know it was a couple hours that webinar, and this is going to be another hour plus. And so I want to acknowledge you guys for showing up. I think this is something I do for myself. I've got different coaches that I meet with on a consistent basis. I think it's important. Even when I feel like I'm doing well, I still go to the coaches, even when I feel like things are good. It doesn't have to be like, I don't know what I'm going to do in my life. I need support. It's like the support means you're wise when you're being consistent on the emotional accountability, the physical accountability, the financial accountability, the relationship accountability. I just feel like it's hard to do anything on our own. So hopefully this has been a powerful couple hours. I know you guys are already very intelligent and very smart and have a lot of the tools probably already, especially if you've been listening to the School of Greatness or seen my stuff, you probably have these tools. But I think it's always important for me to continue to be reminded of the tools so that I don't fall back into self-doubt or self-criticism or beat up or shame or just making bad decisions. So even though we know certain things, I just still think it's important to have accountability and show up. And this is why on every one of my interviews, I'm taking notes. There's probably lots of people that I'm like, okay, yeah, I already know a lot of the stuff they're going to say, but I always learn something. And because I go into it with an open mind of like, this person can teach me something, this person can teach me something. Even if I've maybe got better results in certain areas of my life than them or whatever it might be, I still learn from everyone. And I think that's important. And it's something that I've seen the people that do that in their lives, it's really supported them. I've seen it support me, and I wanted to support you guys as well. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and type them in, and I'll get to some of them in a second. But I just wanted to speak about what's on my mind, which I think might be helpful for you guys. I mentioned this briefly in the webinar. Maybe you guys heard it and maybe you didn't. But I was recently at a mastermind with some of the leading individuals in this kind of industry. And again, some of them have multiple people at this event, had private planes that they flew in on. They have tons of money. They, have millions of followers and, all that stuff. And it was interesting to witness a lot of people who are still doubting themselves. And I'm like, what are we talking about? Like, look at everything you've created. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, look what you've done. And you're having some insecurities. And listen, I'm sure at different stages of my life, I'm going to still face doubts and insecurities, right? But I feel so certain and peaceful, at least on the direction I'm going right now. It doesn't mean I'm not going to have problems and challenges and face stuff, but I feel certain and peaceful about who I am. That took time to develop that. It didn't happen overnight. It took time to create that and to be clear on my meaningful mission. Again, I don't know anyone without a meaningful mission who's having a peaceful life. I'll just say that. People with meaningful missions still have stressful lives or challenges, but I don't know anyone without a meaningful mission. And it doesn't mean you have to change the world or do something outlandish, just something meaningful to you
of raising your family and being so clear that that's what you want to do or whatever it might be. I don't know anyone without a meaningful mission, without 100% clarity and peace around that mission, who is not struggling with something. And so that's why for me, that's step one. It's like getting so clear in one sentence. What is the meaningful mission for you? And the meaningful mission, again, I have this in chapter 3, so I can't wait for all you guys to have this. The meaningful mission is not about, I want to make $1 million. I want to be a #1 New York Times bestseller. I want this. I want that. I want this. That is not a meaningful mission. That is about success and you wanting certain things. And again, none of these things are wrong or bad. If you want to make $1 million, great. I love the clarity on that. If you want to be a New York Times bestseller, great. If you want to launch a podcast, great. These are all things that are important aspects to be clear around what you want to create. But there's got to be something that includes the service of other people. There's got to be something that also includes that. You can make millions and be #1 and all these things that you want to do it. Win at everything for all I care. Be #1 at everything, make millions of dollars, have a 6-pack, all these things. If you want to do them, awesome. Do them all. But if you're just doing them for you, from my personal experience, it is a suffering game. The game of success alone is a suffering game if it does not include other people. And that's why I define greatness as different than success. Success is about me. It's about what I want, and greatness is about including what you want in the service of other people. It's just a little bit of a shift. And it doesn't need to be, I'm going to give all my money away to charities. I'm going to help everyone around me, and I'm going to be a martyr and not give anything to myself. It's how can you live the life that you desire, but also be a generous, kind human being to people around you? That's what it includes. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. That's, again, the things that I've learned in the last 10 years of extreme inner suffering while I've had the external success and had money and had these different things, but still suffering internally and not knowing why. And so does this relate to anyone? I just want to see if this is like resonating or relating to anyone. If you guys like, Lewis is crazy right now. If this, just type in, if it resonates, whether you've experienced that or whether you feel like, yeah, I could see how that could hurt me if I'm just about me and not about we. So I'm seeing some of that's there. And again, you might think this is crazy, Lewis, shut up. Like, I just want to go win and make money and, I don't care about other people. And that's fine if that's what you want. I just don't know anyone that's had a fulfilling life. So that's the foundation. And I feel like all of you here are here for a reason, especially at this time. We're at the beginning of the year. There's things that each one of you have done extremely well in your life. I've seen some of your content. I see some of you DMing me. I watch and observe a lot. And you can see a lot, you can learn a lot about someone within, just seeing a few things about their posting, and, I can see the successes you have. So I know a lot of you have created a lot of success. And I know a lot of you have done stuff in your past that you're proud of, but then some of you still don't believe you're worthy of what's next. Some of you still don't believe you're deserving, and some of you don't believe you're deserving of what you received. If that in any way, shape, or form resonates, type in me real quick just so I can see who here might have any of those feelings, so that we are all on the same page, at least knowing that you're not alone. And again, this is the game. The game for me is this. It's the internal thoughts and feelings that we have. I just went to a 7-day meditation workshop with Dr. Joe Dispenza a few months ago. Anyone here listen to the episode with Dr. Joe Dispenza or follow his stuff? It was powerful. And listen, I've done meditation retreats before in the past, and I've done a lot of these different things before, but I'm always going into it like, okay, what can I learn new? Even though I've already done these types of things, I still go into it with what can I learn new? And it was a very powerful reminder about, I don't know if this is going to resonate or go over people's heads or think that like, Lewis, you're crazy, but the intentions we set, the thought signal we send out into the world. Let's give me a moment to be a little woo-woo with you. but there's so much science and research that backs this that I'm just going to explain it. The thought that you send out, any thought that we have, we send it out, and if we tie it to any feeling. So if I think I don't like this, or an angry thought, or a selfish thought, or whatever it might be, and we have a selfish feeling tied to it, we're going to attract more of that. But if we're thinking something around giving, gratitude, appreciation, joy, love, abundance, we're thinking that thought, and then we're feeling it. It becomes just like a magnetic force, a flow of bringing that more into your environment. And I know that might sound a little crazy or woo-woo or whatever, but there's so much science and data that backs this. I learned a lot of it at Dr. Dispenza's event. He's got tons of resources that back the data and the science of this as well. And so many other people have this as well. Neuroscientists I've had on the show talk about this. And I just feel like that's the game. It's like every day, every hour, and every minute, putting yourself in that state where you can unlock the power of your mind, hence the greatness mindset. It was like, this is the game where we can unlock this from thoughts to feelings into action. We become a ripple no matter what we do in our environment. And do you want to ripple joy, abundance, positivity, gratitude, appreciation, love, openness, vulnerability? Or do you want to ripple tightness, closed off, guarded, defensive, frustration, angry, resentful, unforgiving, all these different things? And again, I'm assuming all of you already know this. So this is not anything new. But just because we know it doesn't mean we always practice it consistently. And it is a constant practice at every season and every level. If we want to keep feeling abundant internally, feeling peaceful, feeling love, feeling accepted by ourselves internally, in order to then create the barriers and boundaries to support ourselves to be abundant externally. We must have structure. We must make sure we're not abandoning ourselves. We're not letting people walk all over us, all these different things in our daily actions. And a lot of that is tied to our belief in ourself. Do I believe I'm enough? Do I believe I'm deserving of enough? Do I believe I'm worthy of love, attention, affection, financial riches, health? If we don't believe it and we don't practice the art of believing consistently, why would good things come to us consistently? Again, this is everything for me. It's the practice, it's the art of managing and navigating challenges that come to your life. And in order for us to grow, you all know this, you're all way smarter than me in so many ways. In order for us to grow, it means you have to face some type of adversity, something new, something that's unfamiliar, something that's challenging, something that's uncomfortable. That is the definition of growth. It's going beyond something familiar, something safe, something that you feel comfortable in. And in order to do that, we must be willing to learn the art of believing and accepting ourselves when those things happen. Because otherwise, they're going to come to us. We're going to be hit with it and say, this is uncomfortable. I don't like this. I don't like this feeling. Let me go back to familiar. Let me go back to safety. Let me go back to what I know is true to me. At least I've survived in this period. And I just know that all the good things that have come to me when I've gotten out of my comfort zone, when I've gotten out of insecurity and fear, when I've allowed myself to stay stuck in fear and insecurity, that's when bad things happen. That's when I make mistakes. That's when I hurt myself. That's when I hurt other people. That's when I do things I'm not proud of. That's when I do things I'm ashamed of. And then I live with that shame and guilt for years and beat myself up. And then I beat myself up and I criticize and I do other things to mask the shame and guilt, to feel better about myself. Those things usually don't feel good when you do those things after a period of time. And so it becomes a cycle where you're living in the past shame and guilt, unforgiving to yourself, unable to heal that. And then you think and you put out a signal that is resentment, anger, frustration, unfairness, not enough, whatever it is, lack of forgiveness. And then you feel the feeling of shame and guilt and insecurity, and that cycle continues. And so this is all about learning to break that cycle, having the tools of breaking it consistently, and you're remembering your future self, which is what something I love about Dr. Joe Dispenza. He talks about remember your future. And if you want to experience something you've never had, you have to remember what that will feel like in the future now. I know it's kind of weird, but you have to remember what that's going to feel like now and start thinking and acting in accordance consistently. And the more we can do that, the more we will unlock. And over the last 2 years, I can just say from personal experience, for the first 8 years of the School of Greatness and the business and all these different things, I was getting results externally and internally based on comfort zone. I knew how to take action in business. I knew how to do marketing. I knew how to write email copy. I knew how to create content. I was learning how to interview. I knew how to do these things because I was doing them and practicing them. So I was getting external results based on what I knew I was capable of. And those results were great. But I wasn't able to break through abundant results in terms of like the growth we were having, in terms of the reach we were able to make, in terms of I had a very small team of like 5 or 6 people for many, many years because I was afraid to spend money to invest in more people. When you spend money in people, you give up control. So I was familiar with control because it had gotten me to where I was at. I learned the skills and I knew how to do these things and I could do them. But that limited me from breaking free up to the next level, to the next season. I don't know if anyone is resonating with this, or if this is connecting with anyone. And so for certain years, I was able to incrementally grow to certain levels based on the level of control that I had, the skills that I had, the knowledge, the emotional availability I had, and pushing for results, driving results, taking action, hustling, working hard, working late hours, doing whatever it took. Great. That got me certain results. But then I was kind of stuck for a couple of years at those results. And I was like, what? And I was having breakdowns in certain areas. And I realized breakdowns typically happen when we stay stuck in a pattern of familiarity, when we stay in our comfort zone. We continue to start to have little breakdowns that happen, or your friends or family, you have disagreements or whatever it is. You have little breakdowns that could cause into bigger breakdowns eventually if they're not handled. And what I learned is I was having breakdowns in intimacy in my relationships. Mostly, my girlfriends over the years. And I realized that not in all cases, but in most cases, how we do anything is how we do everything. Again, not in every case, but in most cases, how we show up in one way is how we show up in lots of ways. And I realized that I was showing up in ways that was living out of fear in intimacy. And then that would show up in other ways in business or friendships or things like that. And so I said after many years, okay, I'm the common denominator of the results that I'm getting. I am at the source and the center of where I'm at in my life. And if I am the source, then I can create something new, but I must learn and overcome a barrier to getting there. There are barriers to getting what we want. And we talk about in the book, the barriers to greatness. There's a whole chapter on the barriers to greatness. So in order to create something new, I must overcome something that I've been afraid of, or overcome something at a new season. You guys all know this. You graduate high school, you go into college and you're scared. Oh, there's a new school. Okay, then you become a senior and you have a season, you gain confidence. Then you graduate and you go out into the world and you're like, what do I do now? How do I get a job? Then you change careers. Then you get in a relationship. You break up. There's always new seasons and new levels that we're going to face for the rest of our lives. And for me, I realized I was repeating a cycle that got certain results, but not the results that my highest self wanted. Not the results that gave me peace, that gave me acceptance, that gave me love, that gave me a feeling of I'm enough. And so I realized, I'm seeking this in other relationships because I don't feel it myself. Oh, shoot. Okay. And I learn a lot slower than everyone here. I grew up very a slow learner in school, dyslexic, the bottom of my class, bottom four of my class, and always needing tutors all the way through my 7th year of college. So probably anyone here, I would say, is smarter than me in any academic classroom. You would all get better tests and grades, and you have more knowledge and more education and wisdom than me. I can pretty much guarantee that because I did not perform well in school. So it takes me a little bit longer in the past to learning certain things. And that's why I'm constantly committed to personal growth and learning, because all of you are smarter than me in that skill set. And I've had to learn through multiple pain and pain and pain over and over again. And it's not till I'm in like a complete breakdown over and over again where I'm like, okay, I've repeated this pattern like 17 times now. It must not be the world is against me. It must be I'm against myself. It must not be like other people just don't understand me. It must be I don't understand myself. It must not be their fault. It must be my responsibility. Why am I tracking and creating this? And why am I doing it on a pattern? Maybe if it's one time, maybe it's not fully my fault, but then multiple times, okay, there's something in me that's doing this and not aware of it. And that's when I said, I got to step up my level of healing and growth. And which meant I've got to be willing to do the uncomfortable things consistently that I don't want to do. And that's when I said, okay, I need to find a new type of coaching, because I've got coaching down and like confidence around business and making money and sales and all these different things. Fitness is pretty good. I can work out hard. I can do these things, but it was the emotional coaching that I really dove into a little over 2 years ago. And listen, I was a confident person. It wasn't like I wasn't confident, but there was something still that I was uncomfortable with that I was not willing to face. And it's going to be a continual thing for the rest of my life at different seasons and stages as well. It's not like I've figured this all out. But what allowed me to do is when I said I'm fully committing to this and I'm going to get to the bottom of this, I'm going to get to the root of this, and I'm going to do the uncomfortable. When I mean uncomfortable, I mean for the first 5-6 months of this, I was doing, emotional coaching weekly for about 5 to 6 months, and sometimes multiple times a week, and sometimes 5, 6, 7, 8 hours on Saturdays in one session. And it's not fun to go and work on emotional coaching on a Saturday. That's not something I enjoyed. It's not something I was like, oh, this is comfortable and I want to do this. I'd much rather just go to the beach and hang out with friends and just like numb out and watch football or something, right? It's not something you want to do. But I realized in order to get the results that I really want, which were internal results, because I'd accomplished so much externally, but I also knew if I wanted to break through in my business and I want to break through business results, if I want to, overcome the fear of needing to have control of everything and be willing to learn how to invest in people and hire and train the right people, that I can remove myself from controlling every aspect of my business because I've known how to do it, because I can write it all, I can do social media, I can do the interviews at a certain level because it's my brand, and I can learn to let that go, which was like, man, that's a challenge. I don't know how to do this. I've never done this before. So I've got to become someone and change internally into someone different in order to create a different result. If we want things to change around us, typically it's a harder fight changing everything else than changing ourselves. Yet it's very hard to want to change ourselves and want to evolve and develop and grow. So I get it. Because for first 30 years of my life, I thought everyone else was wrong around me. I thought everyone else didn't understand me. I thought everyone else was unfair. I thought everyone else was against me. And that was exhausting. It was exhausting to live that life. And when I learned, the 4 agreements, that helped me in a big way. That just tool alone helped me in a big way. I don't know if you guys have read that book yet, but the 4 agreements really started to open me up to learning how to do this. And the last 2 years of doing emotional coaching every 2 weeks, the first 5, 6 months was every week. And then it's been every 2 weeks since then. And once I felt the pain go away internally, and some of you probably have no pain, and that's great. You have no emotional pain. You're not struggling with anything emotionally or internally. You have perfect relationships, perfect lives, perfect health. There's no disturbances in your family or your friendships, and everything is perfect. I'm assuming some of you maybe have that. I don't know. Or maybe some of you have been as dysfunctional as I've been most of my life, where I needed more emotional support in overcoming those challenges. I realized that doing that and diving in was an incredible gift to myself, incredible gift to the parts of me that still felt like, oh man, I hadn't healed different wounds from the past. I'm assuming not everyone here has their parents, or maybe not everyone here has every parent. I'm assuming someone you've loved has passed away, or someone you loved abandoned you, whether it be a relationship or a family member or a friend, in whatever way, shape, or form. I'm assuming you've been through heartache and extreme adversity. And I'm assuming that you've had to face some of these things. And a lot of the times, we as humans have not been trained how to face things and heal and grieve for the highest version of ourselves to feel full. And I didn't know how to do those things fully. I really didn't know. And I'm still in the journey of understanding it. But that has been the thing that has allowed me to unlock my business during the hardest time for most people in their lives, the last 3 years, we were able to grow year after year farther than we've ever been before. And that wasn't because, I worked harder. It's because I started to do things I was extremely uncomfortable doing. I started to do things that I didn't like to do, that I wasn't comfortable doing, that was not familiar. I had to lean into a way of being that I'd never been before. I had to spend money that I was uncomfortable spending because I saw a dream and a vision that I was holding on to greater than fears and insecurity and scarcity. Now, I'm not saying to just blow it all and just be risk takers, but I had to take uncomfortable actions consistently, from having 6 to 7 people on our team 3 years ago, right before the pandemic, to now 22 full-time team members and 50 people that we pay as freelancers, consultants, and agencies. Never would I have been comfortable or ready to invest that type of money into 50 different human beings or companies, because I was safe and felt comfortable with 5 to 6. It's what I was familiar with, it's what I was comfortable with, it's what I understood, it's what I felt a skill set. So I had to learn and develop new skill sets in order to be able to go beyond that. And it doesn't mean it's guaranteed success and guaranteed to win or work out. But I knew that year after year, it was only starting to get certain results financially, business-wise, doing the same things. And I was also only getting certain results intimately, abundantly, emotionally, spiritually, doing certain things. And so when I started to, again, go back, this whole book is essentially the process of everything I learned in the last couple of years of learning to mend and heal wounds and create a new relationship with the memories of my past. Because a lot of us are living in a program of everything we've learned. This is how human beings live. We've experienced stuff, we learned stuff, and that's our program. So I had to go back and reprogram the memories to create new meaning. Viktor Frankl talks about this in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, which I'm sure a lot of you have already read and understand this principle. It's finding the meaning from these moments, to release shame, to release anger, to release resentment, to release guilt, and marry those moments, the meaningful moments that were traumatic, create peace and harmony in those moments and marry them to the present so that I can start to remember a future desire. We talked about the vision board. I'm kind of giving you guys, the deeper explanation of like the free webinar. The vision board is remembering a future. It's remembering a future of what will happen when we heal the memories of the past and create meaning of them so that we are no longer held back emotionally and spiritually and physically on shame, anger, guilt, resentment, so we can lean forward courageously. And it takes a lot of courage to face these things. It takes a lot of courage to mend those wounds. It takes a lot of courage to step forward into the version you want, to attract those things you want. Now, again, if you have no dreams, no desires, nothing you want to create, nothing new that you're striving for and expanding towards, then all of this is irrelevant. If you're completely happy where you're at, the life you've created, you've got the abundance you want or lack of it, you've got the peace and love or lack of it, and you're happy with where you're at, then none of this matters. If you're happy with where you're at and you just want to stay in this state for the rest of your life, then cool, do that. But if you feel like something's stuck, something's off, something's not fully there, then that's what I'm talking about. And I'm just curious, just a show of hands or just type in me if you feel like something is a little off. So maybe you're a little stuck. Maybe you're like, I know there's something more I want to create, but I'm not sure how to do it or why I'm not feeling ready to do it. And so I'm seeing a lot of you there. Now, let's be honest. I'm curious, how many of you, I feel trapped, I feel a little stuck. How many of you feel, let's be honest here, since we're all here, you guys have all invested in this. I've asked this to a lot of people that I've interviewed on a scale of 1 to 10. It's just good to reflect on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you have 100% peace in your heart. You feel love and acceptance for yourself. You feel like calm under chaos. You feel abundance emotionally. That's a 10. A 1 is you hate yourself. You feel every day is a trap. You feel stuck. You feel exhausted. You feel burnt out. You feel there's no peace inside of you. Where are you at on this scale? 6 to 7 on a good day. 3, 4, 8, 1, 8, 7, 7, 6, 3, and growing. 7, 7, 6, 7.2. I like when someone is a point something. 7.2. That's good. In 2022, I was a 3. Now I'm a 6 or 7. That's good. 8.5, 10, 9. So 10, 10 is kind of like every day you feel in peace. Every day you feel like an abundance of love. Every day you feel like nothing rattles you, which I'm sure stuff's going to rattle me the rest of my life. But it's like, how can you get out of that state of frustration as quickly as possible and get back to, 8, 9, 10 in those moments? So I appreciate you guys' honesty here. And so for me, the goal is, and I try to just learn from the people that I've watched who've made mistakes and the people that I've watched that have done the things that I want to create, or I'm inspired by what they've created and I want, something to create from my life like that. And so all this is meaning, all this is meaning. We've got to create meaning while we're here. And if we don't have meaning while we're here, then it's going to be a dark place. It's going to feel a lot of suffering. So all of this is learning how to create better meaning, managing the meaning of the things that hurt us, the big traumas, the little traumas, the wounds, and marrying the peace and meaning from those memories, creating a new relationship with those so that you can be peace now and take action from a state of peace and manage chaos from a state of peace so that you can create abundance financially, spiritually, relationally. That for me is the game. That's why I'm so, and that's why when, and I haven't gotten to any of your questions yet, I'm going to get to them, but I want to set the stage because when people ask me questions about business or marketing or social media or building a following or launching a podcast or writing a New York Times bestselling book or all these things, and they say, well, how do you do this? Or how do you do it without being afraid? Or how do I do it when it needs to be perfect? Everything's going to come back to this. I'm just going to say, go back and re-listen to this. Because if you launch something or you have a dream to put out something in the world, but you have not done this work yet, then you're going to live in fear. It's not going to feel enough. You're going to be stressed that it's not perfect. You're going to be delaying it. You're going to wait. You're going to be questioning every decision you make because you need to have control. You're going to need to look perfect when you put out every post. And all that stuff is just going to hold you back, which goes back to this game, the inner game of the greatness mindset, which again is unlocking the power of your mind. And in some ways, I wish I never would have had to go through the inner like pains and sufferings and trapped feelings that I had for so many years of my life. And in other ways, I'm so grateful and blessed that I had those experiences, which gave me the wisdom personally to be able to teach it effectively now. And to be able to have 10 years of interviews with people where I've just been asking these questions. Because like I don't know if you guys ever listen where you hear me being like, how did you overcome doubting yourself with this? Or, how did you learn to love yourself with this? I ask a lot of questions based on what I need, based on what I'm learning and how I'm trying to develop myself. So I've got so much research now on, and then application about what's been working for me and what's been working for others. And there's a whole process in the book. You're not gonna be able to see it fully, but I'm just gonna show this real quick so you can kind of see this process here. This whole process in the book that takes you from a powerless mindset to a greatness mindset. So just imagine, I'm gonna break it down for a second. I don't know if you can see it this way a little bit. You can kind of see the shape of it. Greatness mindset on the top, powerless mindset on the bottom. So here's a powerless mindset. When you feel less than, when you feel not enough, when you feel like you're down here and you want to get up somewhere higher, when you feel stuck, when you feel stressed, overwhelmed, when you feel at a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus a 7, 8, 9, or 10, it usually means you fit into these categories. So let me just throw it out there for you. Usually means you lack a meaningful mission. Step one, you lack a meaningful mission. And if you're unable in one sentence to type in your meaningful mission in the chat, then right now you lack it. It doesn't mean you may not have goals and dreams and some clarity, but the meaningful mission is the solution to at least having clarity about where you're going. It doesn't mean you've solved every problem. It just means at least you know where you're going. Fuzzy targets get fuzzy results. So step one is developing the meaningful mission. We've got, again, the whole chapter on how to develop that. Step two, or point two of a powerless mindset is you're consumed or controlled by fear. You don't act based on a fear that holds you back. It could be the fear of failure, success, judgment, fear of I'm not enough, what are people going to think of me, all these things. A fear has held you back from taking action. That's another thing. Number three, you're crippled by self-doubt. In the other webinar, I'm not sure if this is it here. I don't know if this is you guys, but in the previous webinar with everyone else, if you saw the chat, so many people said self-doubt was a big fear there. Like, I just have so much self-doubt. I don't know if you guys read that. Maybe some of you guys have that, maybe you don't. But that was the biggest thing for people. Excuse me. Some more water up in here. That was the biggest thing for people. They're crippled by self-doubt, and self-doubt is the killer of dreams. I asked so many people about self-doubt at different levels on the podcast. So it's crippled by self-doubt. Number four, conceals past pain. For 30 years of my life, I was not able to tell one person. I'm not saying you need to tell lots of people or everyone. That's not the case. But I was not able to tell one person about past pains. And it doesn't matter to me who you tell. Tell a priest, tell a friend, your spouse, your family member, someone you trust, a therapist. Holding on to the past pains is poison inside of you. Poisonous. Poison. So I was just poisoning myself every day because I was living in shame. And again, you don't need to tell me. You don't need to tell the world. You don't need to tell whatever. But holding on to, they conceal the past pain. And therefore we mask ourselves. We project what we want people to see is because we're afraid of what they will see. And how, if they will love us or accept us, if they truly knew certain things about us. Again, you don't need to share with everyone or share publicly on these things. It's just when you conceal all those past pains, it keeps you in a powerless mindset. They are defined by opinions of others. Defined by opinions of others. Well, my parents said I got to do this, and if I don't do it, then I'm nobody. Well, my friends make fun of me if I do this. Well, my teachers, my audience, what are they going to think of me? They are defined by opinions of others, and they drift toward complacency. Drift towards complacency. You know what? I don't want to do the hard things today, so I'm just going to take it easy, take it simple. These are the 6 key elements of living in a powerless mindset. So if you have all 6 of those, you're probably not living to the fulfillment you want to feel. If you have one or two, or maybe some of them sometimes and other times, and maybe you're like a 6, 7, or 8 range of like, I'm just not where I want to be fully. And so again, when we are aware of these things, awareness of them is the first step. So we break through in the book everything about how to be aware of them. And then we make a decision. This is transformation zone comes when you act, when you make a decision. Now I'm aware. I've opened my eyes to see these things. And it took me a long time to open my eyes in certain areas of my life because my ego was driving me. My ego thought I looked good. My ego thought I was right. My ego thought no one understood. And everyone else was, they don't know if they're against me, then screw them, all that stuff. And the ego is what shot me in the foot. The ego is what hurt me in a lot of ways. It got me in a lot of trouble. My ego held me back from a lot of love, a lot of fulfillment, abundance, all these things. My desire to be righteous and to be right held me back in so many ways. And man, it's just not a good place to be in when you're constantly in that state. I'm not saying you want to stand up for things you believe in at certain times, but when you're being righteous and not being open-minded, that's challenging. So the transformation zone is that decision. Okay, I'm going to decide to commit to something new. And if you want to have a greatness mindset and aspire to truly be great in certain areas of life, they're the things that you have. You're driven by a meaningful mission. That's stage one. That's why it's the first part of the book. You're driven by a meaningful mission. You learn to turn your fears into confidence. So something I'm always trying to do is say, what am I afraid of? Okay, how can I overcome it? So it's actually the thing I'm the most, it's a strength of mine. It's a power of mine. The thing I'm powerless in, how do I make it something I'm powerful in now? And so greatness mindset, people that have it, they take a list of their fears and they say, okay, this sucks. I don't like having this fear. Now I'm going to go do it until I embrace it and become greater than my fear. And actually it becomes a superpower of mine. Public speaking was a big thing of mine, fear, huge fear. I could not stand in front of an audience. I could not have done this webinar presentation 15 years ago. I was terrified on what everyone thought about me because I knew that I was the stupidest person in every room. I knew that everyone around me was smarter than me. That's what I believed. That was my truth. Based on evidence, on schooling, based on teachers failing me, based on tutors having to work with me hour after hour during recess. When everyone was out on the playground, I was in doing reading class. I had a second grade reading level in the 8th grade. So I told myself, man, I'm stupid. I'm dumb. I'm never going to amount to anything academically. And so when I would speak in front of others in high school and college, I was just so afraid, like, oh, everyone's laughing at me already because I'm the dumbest person in the class. So how could I believe in myself? When I'm confirming it, evidence over and over again, I'm the dumbest one here. How could I do well speaking when everyone's laughing at me? Everyone's gossiping about me. Everyone's talking about me behind my back. Everyone's making fun of me. That was the conversation. So this was crippling me in high school and in college. And it wasn't until after college, after playing arena football, where I was like, okay, this held me back so much the first 23 years of my life. I got to overcome this. Otherwise, it's going to hold me back for the rest of my life. I'm going to be in a powerless state, the powerless mindset where I'm driven and controlled by fears. So I found a mentor who guided me. He said, you got to go to Toastmasters once a week. I'm sure a lot of you have heard this story. And I did that every week. And it was so uncomfortable. It was so embarrassing and humiliating. It was something I did not want to do. I did not want to face. I did not want to step into. I did not want to lean into. But this is where the transformation zone happens. When you go from powerless to greatness, is you are aware, you make a decision, and then you commit to the actions. And the law of attraction has action in the words. And so if you want to attract something, you must act on your fears that hold you back. You must move into action on that fear. And so my encouragement for you today, my coaching for you today, it's the perfect time at the start of the year to don't make a list of every fear you have, but make a list of the two biggest. The two biggest right now. You can type it in here. You can write it down in your journal, but the two biggest. And this is not spiders and snakes. This is more the psychological and emotional and social fears that hold us back. Because when you can master the fear of humiliation and embarrassment of the things that you feel like the worst at, and you can sit in embarrassment time and time again, you are free. I'm telling you, you are free at least of that thing. Until you can learn how to do it with all the things you're afraid of, then you'll be even more free. But public speaking no longer became the thing that I was the most afraid of. Instead, it became a thing that was one of my greatest tools, my greatest powers, my greatest assets, a massive revenue generator for me. It unlocked opportunities to meet some of the most influential people in the world because I'd be invited to speak at stages that I had no business speaking at. I've spoken on stage with Richard Branson and Tim Ferriss and all these celebrities and icons and billionaires. I'm not supposed to be able to do that. Again, I was the dumbest kid in my town, probably in the state of Ohio, based on my grades. And the fact that I essentially had to cheat my way through on homework and quizzes just to pass class because I didn't have the skills or the intelligence or the IQ to even pass basic math, basic reading. I could not read and write in college, people. This was a challenge of mine. I would read a page and I could not comprehend what the page would say. I'd have to read it over and over and over again. 20 minutes would go by. I'm on page 3 of a book and I'm exhausted because I can't remember a thing. So I'm telling you, all of you here are much smarter than me when it comes to certain things. And that's why I said this fear is crippling me. I cannot let this hold me back anymore. So let me lean into the public speaking thing. Reading and writing is not going to be my thing, but maybe I can learn how to speak effectively at a level where people can understand me. And that's what I did, all in every week for a year. It sucked. It was not fun. You think doing that was fun? No. But the only way to get beyond my fears is to get out of my comfort zone. And then it unlocked something meaningful. It unlocked a tool, an asset. It brought in opportunities for me. Okay. And then that was a level of confidence on my tool belt that then the more things I overcame, the more fears I overcame over the next decade, and I'm still overcoming them, the more confident I became. And I can lean into that. So again, this is that part of the greatness mindset. They heal past pain. They create a healthy identity. And so is me telling you that most of my childhood, I thought I was dumb, stupid, and insignificant, a good identity? No. So I had to shift that identity and say, 10 years ago, I had a transformational experience for myself because for 30 years of my life, I thought I was stupid. And then I had an opportunity to shift my identity. This was literally 10 years ago. I shifted it and saying, you know what? I've been saying I'm stupid for 30 years, 25 years, whatever, since I started talking or something, right? But I was 30 years old and I was like, man, I've been telling myself I'm stupid inside and telling others I'm stupid on the outside. And I was saying it today for an explanation. I don't think I'm stupid anymore. I was just letting you know that's how I interpreted it. And when I was 30, I said, you know what? I'm wise. I'm wise. You know, maybe I don't have the academic IQ, but I have the wisdom. I have the experience. I have the lessons. And so I stopped saying I'm stupid and I started saying I'm wise. And that started to be the shift of a new identity for me. And I started to realize, wow, I'm actually extremely wise. And I'm actually able to alchemize any idea and bring it into life. That's wisdom. I'm able to build deep relationships with people. I'm able to serve and help people. I'm able to ask meaningful questions to get people to open their hearts and minds the way they've never shared before. I'm able to do so many things that a lot of people don't do. That's wisdom. And so I started to say that I'm a wise man. And I started to say that over and over again and embody wisdom. Now, it didn't mean I didn't make a lot of stupid mistakes over the last 10 years. Don't get me wrong. I'm a human being that is imperfect. But I developed a lot of wisdom and I started to shift my identity towards that. And then the last thing about greatness mindset is someone who takes action with a game plan. So start by driven by a meaningful mission, turns fears into confidence, overcomes self-doubt, heals past pains, creates a healthy identity, and takes action with a game plan. And if you're able to do all 6 of those, you're stepping into a level of greatness, and that is a mindset of greatness that over time, amazing things will start to unfold for you. So again, that's towards the end of the book, teaching you that process of awareness. Am I living in a more of a powerless mindset state? And if so, how do I lean more into the greatness mindset state? Um, and we've got a ton of different exercises in here as well. So again, I'm very grateful for every one of you that joined the VIP, that pre-ordered another copy, 2 or 5 copies. And some of you, if you're interested in coming to a one-day private coaching with me in person in LA with a group of 50 other leaders, entrepreneurs, influencers who've all invested, if you buy 100 books, we'll put the link in there for the bundle in the chat. But if you want to do that, there'll be a 100 book buy. We'll get you a one-day coaching with me. I've got Rory Vaden coming. I've got another person coming who's going to help talk about writing New York Times bestselling books. We've got some other special celebrity guests coming as well. Here in LA will be a full day with me and some people teaching about business mindset, growth, and all these different things. So if you're interested, make sure you guys go to the bundle and check that out. I don't even know how long I've been talking for, but I just felt like I needed to. How long have I been going for? Do you know? I don't know if this is 10 minutes or 2 hours. I have no idea. But let me ask you, but I felt like I needed to say this because before anyone asks any questions about anything else, I'm going to literally say, go back to what I just said. If it asks about fears and doubts and all these things, I'm going to say, well, go back to this, unless there's a specific question you have around something. But again, I wanted to start with this because I feel like this is the game. And you guys that are at a level where you're willing to invest in yourselves at a higher level, which shows me your level of commitment in yourself, which means you're probably really seeking growth and transformation in a bigger way. I think this was what, $50 or $48 to be here. I can't remember, for the VIP coaching. So you've invested in yourselves. You're committed to growth. You're committed to transformation, which is beautiful. And I really acknowledge you for showing up and for being a stand and a commitment to your future self. When we remember what our future self wants and our higher self is, and we can start overcoming what our past self once was, that's when greatness starts to happen. And it's a beautiful thing. Again, I wish I could have learned it a lot sooner, but I also feel like, as my friend Rory Vaden says, we are perfectly positioned to help the person we once were. And I know all of you have gone through different tragedies, traumas, stresses, whether it be from childhood or more recently, or breakups, or all these different things. And I just really acknowledge you for having the courage to show up for yourselves. It takes a lot of courage to show up for you, whether you're here doing this or you're doing something else for yourself. It shows me that you're here, you're investing in yourself for $50 to be here, that you're investing in you consistently. And I think that's really cool. And I acknowledge you guys for doing that. Let me see. Perfect. Well, I see some of these coming through. I'm just going to scroll through some of them really quick and start getting into some of these. We got links in there for you guys. How do you find motivation when you're not motivated? Says Travis. I think I would actually go back to, do you have a meaningful mission first? Again, I'm going to go back to step one. Do you have a meaningful mission in one sentence that involves we and me? Not just me and what I want to create for me, but also involves we. If you have that, then that's step one. Step two is saying, I'm not here to do this all on my own. It's finding support. It's finding support. That could be friends, family who are just in support of you and your mission, that are bought in. And maybe you can't find someone. You know, when I left college to go play pro football, and then when I left that and got injured, my dad was in a coma for many months from a tragic car accident, and I didn't have his emotional support. I didn't have his buy-in. And some of my friends, this was the economy was crashing, 2008 and 2009. We were living in fear and uncertainty. And so I was like, well, I'm going to go try to do this entrepreneurial thing. And people are like, what are you doing? And so you may not always get buy-in from others that are closest to you, but that's why you got to start seeking out other people that are doing it that you can get buy-in from and support from. I don't care if that's on Twitter or Instagram or going to meetups or I don't know, some underground Discord groups that you're in, whatever it is, of the people that are doing things you're doing, like following them, having like buy-in and having that community collection from them. So that's number two is having that buy-in from others and support. It's hard to do anything on your own. Um, and then I would say this is more of a tactical, practical thing, is being led by your schedule and putting everything in your calendar. Like my calendar tells me the actions I'm doing today. The actions I'm doing today, I make decisions on based on a meaningful mission. So I don't put things in my calendar unless it's like I'm just want to goof off or do something, and I know it's gonna not gonna help me. But most of the things in my calendar are decisions to make today based on my meaningful mission for the future. So everything ties back to that. So I don't just do things randomly. I do things that I know are going to support that cause and that mission that excite me. It doesn't mean everything that I do is exciting, but I know it has to get done. And sometimes it's got to get done by me to make that mission happen. So that's the third thing is I manage my life based on what I put in my calendar. And I make decisions, very clear yes or no decisions based on will this serve the mission? Will this serve the mission? Yes or no? So I schedule my workouts in the morning because that serves the mission, because it serves me and having more energy to show up for the day. I schedule my interviews at a certain time. I schedule my team meetings at a certain time. I schedule therapy at a certain time every 2 weeks because I know that'll serve me emotionally to serve the mission every day. So I schedule my life according to my mission. And it doesn't mean, I don't have days where I just kind of goof off or do whatever I want to do. Or I also schedule in play. I schedule in time with friends. I schedule in time with my girlfriend. I schedule it in. As the saying goes, if it's not scheduled, it's not going to get done. You're not just going to think about it and do it one day. Maybe sometimes, but not consistently. So motivation for me is a few parts. When you're clear on your meaningful mission, then you make decisions daily. You schedule them in that will serve that mission. You have the support around you that is encouraging, support, accountability, whether that's coaching or free accountability from friends, and surrounding yourself with the right people. And sometimes that's not the people closest to you. Sometimes that's not your parents or your friends or your family. That's going beyond the circle that you're familiar with, beyond the tribe, which is one of the hardest things for people to do, to leave the tribe at certain times to find people. Leaving your hometown. This is freaking Lord of the Rings. It's like this is the hero's journey if you're a storyteller. Like you've got to leave your hometown at some point. You've got to leave something and then return to overcome the barrier. And then from there, I don't think people celebrate themselves enough. And I'm not saying like you got to cheer for yourself and like brag online all the time, but I don't think we take enough time to celebrate our wins. I think a lot of us are good. Just go ahead and like nod or say yes if this is you. A lot of us are good at accomplishing something and then just going to the next thing and then going to the next thing and not taking a moment to be like, wow, let me like actually like cheers to this for like dinner or like just talk with a friend and say, man, we did that. Can you believe what we did this month? Like we had this challenge and we took it on and like we made it happen. It's so cool. High five. Like just taking moments to celebrate keeps you motivated. Keeps you like, oh, I want more of that feeling. I want more of that celebration. So those would be, I guess, the 5 kind of things to support you in that. I just don't think I think it's hard to be motivated on your own, to not have a team or people you're working with that you're inspired by or people that hold you accountable, that believe in you. I think it's hard to be motivated without a meaningful mission. You've got to have that first. And then I think it's hard to be motivated when you schedule a bunch of crap in your calendar that doesn't support your meaningful mission getting done. And if you never celebrate yourself, then what's the point of doing it? You're going to wait 20 years until you accomplish something and then finally celebrate? No, life is now. Life is a celebration. Every day, find joy in the little things. And the big thing is just going to be like, oh, this is awesome. It's all great stuff. Every day is a celebration. So those would be the things to stay motivated. And segue, if you need 5 to 10 minutes of daily motivation, we've got a show called The Daily Motivation. It's a free podcast. It's something I listen to every week. Sometimes I listen to like 5 episodes in one day because I'm just like, our team of producers are doing an amazing job of finding inspiring content from the guests we've had on. None of this stuff is me, so I'm not just sitting here listening to myself. I'm listening to the guests we've had on, and they do a great job of putting together content that's motivating, inspiring, good music, of bringing that to you into the world. So that's a free show on Apple, Spotify, The Daily Motivation. If Jamie, you can find that on Apple or someone can, and put that link to Apple for The Daily Motivation. So I hope that answers the question. Okay, let me see. All right, what other question? I'm probably missing questions that have come through here. How do you pull yourself out of a hard day when you feel like you just can't get out of the crap mood? Said Valerie. I think that's, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think I've had hundreds of those days in my past. Literally, I remember days where I was in the fetal position for hours, like in my bed. Luckily that wasn't any time in the last like 5 to 10 years, but in my 20s, I remember being in the fetal position in my bed saying, like, it was so painful what was going on in my life. Like, the pain was so dramatic. And I don't know if anyone's ever been there. And then you look back and you're like, what was I feeling that pain for? Like, that was nothing, right? But I remember having those days, and I lacked the emotional tools. I lacked the emotional tools to manage all that stuff. So one is to be aware of it and say, okay, I no longer want to feel this way. There's something inside of you that you don't feel good about yourself. So getting to a place where you can learn and develop and overcome that. And I think that just takes time. It takes practice. It takes like being the breakdown to say, okay, I need to get out of this. I'm a big, big fan of meditation, a few minutes a day minimum. That brings me peace. It brings me awareness. I'm a big, big fan of being consistent with a meditation practice, being consistent with a workout practice, being consistent of eating the right things, or at least doing the best I can so that my body feels good. I'm in the practice of speaking kindly to myself internally and externally. I'm in the practice of being around good people consistently who call me out when I need to be called out, but are also doing it in a positive way to support and elevate me. So these are all practices to support me in overcoming having really, really bad days to where I'm just more like, okay, I feel a little down today, but it's not like going to break me. Okay, I've got some other questions that have come through here. From Karen. Let me see. Okay. This is from D. I don't know if this D has a full name, but do you think that finding a committed partner is by luck or a decision to find them? Oh, man, this is interesting because I did not try to find Martha, my partner. I literally was like, I don't want a relationship. I don't want to be with anyone. I was like, I'm just gonna continue to take care of me. And I think I've been in that state for a while, but I was just kind of like, nah, I'm good. I just want to be at peace by myself. And if I'm never with anyone ever again, I'm fine. And it's kind of funny, like I think when I was able to do that, it was like I was able to see who I would be good with. And so I was like, no, I'm fine by myself. I'm good. I don't need anyone to feel peace and loved and happy. Like I've gotten to a place of that after, again, months and months and months of emotional coaching and doing that work and just breakdowns and lessons and all that stuff. And I think I was able to see it differently. That's what it was. I was just able to see it differently. The veil had been lifted from my programming because everything is a program. So the veil had been lifted, and I was able to see people differently in life. And I saw Martha, and I was able to receive differently, which is before I hadn't learned how to receive in a certain way. So I chose based on seeing that, but I saw lots of people, and then I was able to see and act differently in accordance to the level that I was at. So that was from Daniel. Okay. How do you evaluate when the right moment to take the leap is? I'm asking for the people who are employed with high-paying jobs and are debating between saving more money to set ourselves up for the long run or just starting now. Do you believe that having a target of specific money is the way or more overall preparation? I guess I'd have to understand full context here on if Daniel's trying to like launch a side hustle while he's at a career, or if he wants to like have his own business and leave the career, and when is the right time. But it sounds like looking to leave something, take the leap to leave a career maybe you've had for a while. You've got a high paying job, but you feel like maybe, I don't know, I'm not aligned with this mission or the job anymore, and you want to go do something on your own. I think that's what it is. Do I believe you should have a target of a specific money is the way, or just overall preparation? There's no one size fits all here. I never tell people like quit your job and just go start the thing you want to do if you have no money. I just don't think that's wise or appropriate to say. I think that's like putting people up to fail. You've got to understand your risk tolerance, and where you're at with season of life. If you got 3 kids, mortgages and bills, I don't think you leave right away. I think you build up, you save for a year minimum of expenses, because it could take up to a year to launch something and start making money. So if you've got the buy-in from your partner and you've got like, okay, I could always go back to this career after a year if, I can't figure out how to make money on my own, then I would give myself a year minimum of savings to be able to cover all expenses, if that's the case, before I took the leap. That would be you know, uh, my wisdom speaking. But if you've got no responsibilities and you're happy living, at your parents' house for free, and you're at a different stage in your life and you've got no kids, then leap right away. If you're okay living on the couch for a year, it all depends on what stage and season you're at, um, and what you feel comfortable in. But I would never tell someone to leap, to put themselves in financial risk with the responsibilities of family and that they have. So that's what I would say. I would also say, like, on the weekends and at nights, if you're like, okay, I know in the future I want to try my own thing, then I'd start seeing, can I make money on the weekends doing it? And when you start replacing some of that income by the weekends, then you can say, okay, once there's more demand for me, then I could start thinking about leaving. And maybe I'm making less for a while, but eventually, if I have more time, I could build this up to do my own thing. But I will say this: I don't think everyone's meant to be an entrepreneur. I don't think it's meant to be for everyone, nor do I think you should want to be. I think if you feel called to be, cool. But I think there's a lot to be said for being a part of mission and having a team and support where not all the pressure is on you. So, I mean, in some ways, I don't think I was meant to be an entrepreneur, because early on, it wasn't something I ever thought I would do. And I didn't have the skill set, nor did I have the courage to go launch something on my own or ask someone for money. I didn't have that courage. I didn't have the skills with the ability. I was afraid of that. I truly believe the only reason I'm an entrepreneur is because my dad got into a really bad car accident, had a coma for 3 months. He wasn't, he was essentially dead for 3 months. And then when he got back, his life changed and he just passed away last year. For 17 years, I had my father, who was a hero of mine, physically alive, but emotionally a shell of himself. His personality was different. He wasn't able to communicate clearly, forgot everything. And it was extremely sad. It was extremely sad, for all of us, to not be able to have your father, to have an emotional connection with, and just all the challenges and complications that came with it. It was extremely sad. Um, that's what I'll say about it. And had that not happened, I don't think I'd be an entrepreneur. I think, unfortunately, it took that essentially being away from me, my father, and that happening to him, where I said it was so close to my face, it was so painful, that I just said, and he was kind of like my backup. He was like a safety net. He was like, hey, go chase your dream of being a pro athlete. And then when you're done, you can come like work with me and my insurance company. And I did like a little mentorship in college there and got like my insurance license and all that stuff. But I was just like, I don't think that's like what I'm supposed to do. Like, I'm not really good at this, nor do I want this to be my dream. But it was kind of a safety net for me. So when the safety net was taken away, I was like, okay, I am at the bottom. I have no money. I've got 3 credit cards I'm living off of. I've got tens of thousands of dollars in students loan. It's the economic crisis. There's no jobs. What do I do? I couldn't get a job, right? So I was like, and my dad had this coma he just got out of. So I was like, what do I do? I was like, well, I'm already at the bottom. I'm already sleeping on my sister's couch. I have no responsibilities in my life. Let me see if I can get one person to pay me $1. And so let me see how I can do it. And so that was kind of like the stage for me. Um, but I don't think I was meant to be an entrepreneur. I think I was forged into becoming one based on circumstances. And I've had to learn through all these different things. But the hardest thing for people is having a good life. Having a good life is the hardest thing for people that feel spoken to internally. And there's a voice inside that says, I'm supposed to be doing something greater. That's one of the hardest battles, I think, because life is good. You're making good money. You've got a good marriage. You've got great kids. But for whatever reason, something keeps speaking to you inside. And it's not from external comparisons. It's not from seeing your neighbors with a nicer car or nicer home. It's not that. But you just hear whispers of like, but this isn't what you're supposed to do. And I don't know if anyone's ever heard that, where life is actually good and things are fine. But it's like you're not growing at the level you know you need to grow. You're not doing something you feel like you need to do. Like there's something a little bit off, but you're like, but I should just be happy with where I'm at. But some of us can be extremely happy with where we're at and know we're on the right path of doing that every day. But other of us are like, but there's something else. There's something else inside. I don't know what that is, whether you want to call it a higher power or whatever, but there's something that was eating me alive for years, telling me I need to course correct. I need to do something else. And I sold a business that was making, I think we were making about $2.2 million a year for a couple of years back to back and making good money as a 29-year-old, right? Now I had a lot of expenses. That wasn't my money, but the business was generating that. I was paying myself a salary. But I was making good money, but I knew it's not what I was meant to do. And so I had to go through a breakdown and a breakthrough to say, okay, I'm going to launch this thing, the School of Greatness. I don't know. I just feel called to call it this because I felt like I didn't have the skills in school that I wish they would have taught me. I felt like I was insecure and stupid and all these different things. And I wish they would have taught me how to manage fear. I wish they would have taught me how to manage success. I wish they would have taught me how to deal with failure and people making fun of you and all these other things, embarrassment. All these things I wish they would have taught me are the skills of life. And it's kind of like a lifetime of experience and wisdom in this one book that I wish I would have had then. And that's why I was like, okay, I'm going to create the School of Greatness. And I didn't make money. I did not make money, but I had saved money for about 2 years of like lifestyle and just living and expenses. And so that supported me in having the courage to be like, okay, I can always go back to this business that I don't fully love to try this thing that I'm curious about. And that leap was scary because I think one of the hardest things is going from good to great. And it's one of the hardest things because life is good. But when you have that voice inside that tells you, there's something you're not doing or not facing or not addressing or not speaking up about, that's one of the hardest calls to adventure, whatever you want to call it, hero's journey that we've all got to take on if that speaks to us. Otherwise, I don't know, we live in regret and I just don't want to live like that. Another one from Angie with the good last name says, it's easy to make time and show up for others in personal and professional realms. What is a good approach to showing up for myself beyond a morning routine of workout and meditation in order to raise the priority level of my vision and action board? I think we sometimes try to overcomplicate it. Like if I look back at my success in terms of results in the last 10 years, a few things I've done. And you can ask my team has been with me for a long time, and my team has been with me for the last year or two or three. They've seen the same process. I show up consistently to do the things that I feel like is going to serve the meaningful mission in terms of work. Then I show up for myself in whatever it is that's holding me back. I lean into it. I take the action. I take the accountability. I take extreme responsibility in myself. And it's never fun to do. It's not. It's not fun to like face these things. You don't want to say I'm deficient here. Like no one wants to say that to themselves. But it's not you're deficient. It's something you haven't learned yet to get to the next level of what you want. And that's all it is. So I spend probably every year, I don't know if it's every year, but almost every year in the last 10 years, I do some type of trip or retreat or experience where I go away and I reflect. I think that's important. I just got back from a 3-day mastermind weekend where I wasn't working. I was journaling, I was listening to others, I was learning, I was connecting, and I was reflecting on this season of life. I think that's important to do. Whether you want to do a retreat, meditation retreat, a mastermind, a coaching event, something where you can take a step back, see, okay, what's really working and assess, and then reconfigure your daily actions to support your goals and dreams, right? So I think that's part of it. And I think a lot of people, the morning routine and meditation is great, but I think giving yourself time to disconnect, to then reconnect to that if you're in alignment of your vision and what else you need to do to shift. That's one of it. I think it all depends on the certain financial level you're at too, I think. But the greater the demands on you, the greater the pressure, the greater that's at stake. I just truly believe, I heard this from, gosh, why am I blanking on his name? The Robin Sharma, the guy who wrote the book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. I think it sold over 10 million copies. When I had him on, he told me, the level that he's at now, the team he's managing, the audience, the growth, all the challenges that come his way. As a business leader, you've got just constant problems, challenges, things you're facing, right? And he said, the higher you're trying to grow towards this vision you have, you've got to be willing to invest more in you and your personal care. He said he does 2 massages a week. I don't know if I'll ever do that myself, but now he's at the financial ability now at this stage. But he's like, with all this weight and pressure that you've got to manage, 1,000 emails a day, 17 problems a day of people breakdown here and there and there, while trying to show up and lead people, while trying to create content, while trying to write books and be thoughtful and intentional. He's like, you've got to be willing to take care of you. My friend who's a venture capitalist, who's got hundreds of millions of dollars in his fund, his VC fund, he's got a lot of pressure, a lot of weight, a lot of these big billionaires investing in it, needing results, needing returns. If you're not taking care of you beyond the morning routine and the meditation by doing some type of body work, whether that's Reiki or is that acupuncture or massage, even once a month to release, to let go, like something to take care of you. And maybe you don't want to do the massage, that's fine. But when he told me that, I was like, I really need to invest in my kind of like body health, body work. Like I do mobility exercises at a facility called Myo Detox here, where they help me like stretch and mobilize. Just because the body, again, that's a book, the body keeps the score. You're going to carry on the weight unless you release it. So that's what I would say, but it all depends on your kind of financial stability. That's not for everyone, but I think that's something you can think about. Carol said, what advice do you have for single and 50-plus-year-old people that want to start but feel they are running out of time? I mean, there's so many stories of people like, what's the story of Colonel Sanders, the Colonel Sanders, KFC? I think he was 60 when he launched KFC, 55 or 60. And he was like a failing entrepreneur before then, I think. And then he launched KFC in his 50s or 60s or something like that. Now, listen, these are rarer cases. I'm not saying like, hey, you're going to be 50 and you're going to launch some billion-dollar business. But in terms of running out of time, I don't know if you mean being single and trying to find a relationship or like running out of time of like launching your dream. But my mom has had, I don't know, 2 long-term relationships since she got divorced in her 50s. And she's had, great partnerships and relationships over the last 2 decades and lived a rich, joyful, loving, abundant life in her 70s now. And the funny thing is she's like starting new activities and new hobbies now in her 70s and seems like more peaceful than ever. So I've seen it with my mom. I'm not in my 50s, so I can't relate to that. I don't have that wisdom or experience. So I see where you're coming from, but I truly don't understand it. But I've seen my mother do this. And what she does is, I mean, I hate to go back to this because I feel like people are going to be, I don't know, think this is a broken record, but she is constantly doing personal growth work on herself. She had fears. She'd been married for 30 years, went through a divorce. She'd never been on her own since she was 18. And so she had to learn how to make money, how to be single, how to figure out the world. And she started going to workshops, trainings 20 years ago and said, okay, how can I grow? She reads books. She listens to the School of Greatness. She tells me about what she's learning from some doctor or neuroscientist and how she's applying it. So I think that's something you can think about there. But I would say find a community. That's step one. Find a community of people that are inspiring to you in your 50s. This is from Ali Wester, and a Greatness Academy member. Big thanks to Ali for being a part of Greatness Academy. Love seeing you in there. Lewis, I have a wedding and event planning business. 18 years ago, I started the course teaching others live on how to start an event business. I filmed the course and created a handbook. It's ready to sell. I just do not know how to market it since I am an unknown. Help me. Again, I was at this mastermind with some of the biggest personal development leaders and entrepreneurs in this space. Brendon Burchard hosted this. So if you go to Brendon Burchard's Instagram, you can see all the people there. I'm assuming you're following some of these people, or maybe you've invested in their courses or listened to their shows. Some of the biggest people: Jay Shetty, Mel Robbins, Brendon Burchard, Trent Shelton, all these people, right? Jenna Kutcher, all these people who have done amazing things in their brands. It all comes down to marketing. Like everything that they were talking about when people were trying to launch something is learning marketing. And if that's not you, you got to find someone who is a marketer and hire them. I think everyone on this call needs to learn marketing if you want to have a side hustle, launch a business, or be a part of a team. Like you've got to learn to market yourself, whatever you're doing. Marketing is the answer to a lot of problems. Creating a great product is not enough. I'm sorry. Having the perfect course, book, program on how to do something is part of it. But the marketing, people that master marketing can sell bad products and make a lot of money. People that have a great product and master the marketing, that's when great things start to happen. That's when you see it flourish and grow. So you need to learn marketing. You need to learn marketing at least on one platform. You don't need to master every platform or everything like that. I think a lot of people try to do everything at once. Start with one platform. Maybe that's Pinterest because you're an event planner and you can show visuals on Pinterest. All you do is master one platform or find someone who can master one platform for you and learn marketing. Marketing will be the life or death of a business, period. It is a skill. And that's why I say not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur, because you have to either learn marketing yourself or you need to learn how to hire someone who can market and who can build the marketing plan for you and execute on a consistent basis. It's about, marketing has changed a lot in the last 10 years. Marketing includes a lot of content creation now these days. But there's one guy in this mastermind that does hundreds of millions of dollars a year in sales. And he doesn't create a lot of content, but he's mastered advertising and media buying. So how do you market creative copy content through media buying? Now he's got more resources to do that, but that's how he does it. That's how he grows his business. He does marketing through an ad to get people to opt in for something and then provides his program or services that way. All of you came here from either an email, a text, social media, or an ad. Let's see what this is right here. Type in where you saw this free webinar at. Maybe it was on my Instagram. Maybe it was LinkedIn. Maybe it was Twitter. Maybe it was Facebook. Maybe it was my podcast. Maybe it was YouTube, email, an ad. And I'm seeing a lot of people from all over the place, right? You can look at the responses here. That is marketing. That is team greatness, putting together different content to market on different platforms. That's adding value consistently. That's promoting it out. That's like, you got to be creative. Okay, let me think of an idea. What's this photo? What's this caption? What's this thing? What's this post? That's marketing. Running an ad. It's going to be a video. It's going to be a text. It's going to be a photo. We're going to run it. We're going to target the right people. That's marketing. This is a skill set. You've got to either learn it yourself or you've got to find someone who can do it for you or hire an agency who can do this for you. That's part of the process of being an entrepreneur, is mastering the marketing. And that's what these people were talking about. They're great marketers. And when you have a great marketing plus great product or great service, that's when you really start to separate from the other people in your industry, in your space, because you've got both. You've got the combination. You're helping a lot of people with your product or your service, and you're doing a great job promoting it and telling people about it. You know, there are so many books that are great that no one reads because they don't know how to market the book. I can honestly say this is the most proud book in terms of like structure, content, and writing that I've done, right? This is my third big book. I've done a couple other ebooks and stuff like that. But this is the most proud. I've also got a lot more years and experience and wisdom and things like that. That doesn't mean I'm not proud of my first two books. You know, my first book I was extremely proud of at the time, but I've just got more wisdom now. The Mask of Masculinity is probably my most proud message in terms of it heals men every day who read it, who've gone through different challenges. It reconnects them to their relationships and their marriages and things like that. But this book, I feel like, kind of hits everything and allows people to overcome their doubt and insecurity, which is the baseline for everything else. But we're also, so we did a great job writing it and creating it and packaging it, and the design is beautiful, but we're also marketing it. We spent time, energy, and money to do this free webinar for people to sell a book. No one does that. No one's willing to invest the time and money. It costs a lot of money to run ads. It costs a lot of money to send out emails and text messages. It costs a lot of money. Like, it costs a lot of money to get the message out there that I have a book. So you see that yes, we need a great product. And then I'm promoting this months before the book comes out. And it's work, guys. It's work, it's effort, it's time, it's money. We're paying a whole team to watch this right now, a whole team to create the slide deck, a whole team to do the production, to edit, to change the video over here, to be in the chat, a whole team that we're paying to support the marketing. We're investing tens of thousands of dollars to run ads, to get in front of people, to say, hey, why don't you check out this free webinar that's going to help you in these 4 key areas of life this year. Let's give, and it's about value, value, value. I'm saying, here, let me help you. Let me serve you. Let me figure out the problem it is that you have and support you in solving that problem through this free webinar, by promoting the webinar to get people on for free. Then, hey, hopefully you enjoy the webinar, and I didn't mess it up enough where you're like, man, I got some value. Hey, are you willing to invest $25 to get the book? Like, we'd love for you to get the book. This whole thing is marketing, essentially, to get people to take an action on buying the book. How much value can I give to people through my messaging, my content, my tools? We'll give you a free toolkit on fear conversion. It's like, how can we give value? And through that, you're also marketing to get a result in business. You need sales to grow a business and to survive. Otherwise, you can't pay yourself or other people. So you need sales. You can either do that through a service or a product or an event, right? It can be physical goods. It can be digital goods. It can be a service. It can be a software as a service. It can be a product, coaching, things like that, a physical good or digital good or an event, right? Or it can be this coaching here. But at the end of the day, you got to get people to convert. So the product is one thing, the marketing is the next thing, and then learning people to convert. That's why I'm saying I don't think everyone's meant to be an entrepreneur, because you've got to learn so many skills, or you got to learn to hire and manage and train people to develop these skills with you and support that growth. But it's all marketing. Everything is the marketing. Okay, I've got 2 or 3 more that I'm going to do, and then we'll finish things up. I don't know how long I've been on here, but And you guys can see in the chat how many people came from all over the place. Yes, we're going to be recording this as well, so you guys will get access to the recording. Can I speak in Hawaii? I love Hawaii. I love Maui, Kauai. It's all great. I lived in Hawaii for 3 months in college. I did a semester there. Um, and they made us actually work really hard because they were like, we're not going to let you be in Hawaii without like driving you through all this work. So Kauai is my favorite island. Yeah. When am I coming to Mexico? I'll probably be to Mexico a few times this year. You know, Martha's going to be probably filming another movie there, so I'll probably come visit a few times. Next question from David. I'm listening a lot to lectures and find that there are so many skills that I need to master. When starting out, what's your experience with the three most important skills to master? It all depends on the mission you have and the context, but the greatest skill is learning to overcome self-doubt. That's the baseline. If you have confidence, self-esteem, and belief in yourself, then you have the courage to face challenges. You have the courage to ask the person out. You have the courage to apply for the job. You have the courage to ask for a sale. You have a courage to launch a book, do the podcast, whatever it is. So the number one skill is the skill in yourself of belief. And you do that by making a list of all your biggest fears. Let me figure out what chapter this is in. Chapter 7 is the dream killer, self-doubt. So that's what would be the first skill. The second skill, more of like a tangible skill. It all depends on what you're doing. It's hard for me to say because I need to know more context. But um, like any type of communication skills in terms of speaking, in terms of writing, you know, sales copy or effective spoken word copy is powerful. Life is enrollment. You're either able to communicate what you want or you're not. And the more you're able to communicate what you want and your skills and yourself, the better your job opportunities are, the better you're able to sell people or whatever it might be. So it's your ability to effectively communicate would be number two. And then the third skill is mastering your body, to be honest. I feel like if you can master your emotional state first, self-doubt and overcoming that, which we talk about the whole process in the book. Number two would be communication skills. Number three would be mastering your physical health. That is something that I feel like, again, more and more people struggle and suffer with their physical body, and it holds them back from having the energy and the confidence in their dreams. Keith said, what was your best asset in your journey? I'm just saying, like, all the mentors that I've had, to be honest, of like reaching out to them, putting myself out to them and saying and asking for support from these mentors. Kind of all of them combined, like guided me, gave me feedback, coached me early on when I was struggling, whether it be in sports or in business. I would say all those individuals. And then I would say the invisible asset, because I would have more like tangible physical assets, I guess, people. The invisible asset was my willingness to like fall flat on my face and try a bunch of stuff. I was just like, I wanted to do it and I was willing to risk like falling on my face over and over again. And I just feel like a lot of people are afraid to be humiliated. And it didn't mean I didn't like being humiliated, but I was like, I'm willing to do it because I have nothing to lose. I just felt like so many times I felt like I had nothing to lose. And I was like, well, I'm already at the bottom, physically, emotionally, financially. So what do I have to lose? So I think that kind of invisible asset was powerful for me in my journey. Jesse says, I have business ideas, but I don't know the knowledge to start the process. My fear is if I share these with people who I know have the knowledge in order to learn how to, they might steal them. How do I overcome the fear? How do I trust, engage, who to reach out to? That's an interesting one. And that's definitely a valid fear and concern is discernment to make sure you're not just telling the world, hey, here's my idea, this and this, and make sure you're being discerning. But also, I think it's a scarce fear as well. It's a scarcity fear because there are no such thing as $1 million ideas. There's only $1 million executions. And so many people don't have what it takes to execute an idea consistently. My girlfriend Martha, she's amazing. She's got so many creative ideas. She's so creative and so brilliant in so many ways that she just connects the dots on so many things. She goes, "Oh my God, you know what would be amazing if this was in the world and if this thing happened and this idea and this movie and this project and this app." And I'm like, yeah, that's an amazing idea. Do you want to spend the next 7 years building it out yourself and building a team and making that your meaningful mission? If so, great. But a lot of it comes down to, is that your meaningful mission? Just because it can be done doesn't mean it should be done. And just because you could do it doesn't mean you should do it. I can sell toothbrushes if I wanted to, and I'm sure I could make some money selling toothbrushes. But does that serve me and my mission? No, it doesn't. Maybe one day it will, but it doesn't right now. So just because I have an idea for this cool sonic electric toothbrush, it's not part of my mission. And if we make decisions based on money alone, eventually we'll get burnt out, overwhelmed, and stressed. But we make decisions based on a mission that's meaningful to us. We have sustainable energy to do what it takes to make something great, because it doesn't happen overnight. It's been 10 years and I still feel like we don't have everything figured out, right? We're doing great work. We're impacting the world, but I'm like, we're not where we need to be. And I'm 10 years deep. Again, I told you I'm a much slower learner than a lot of people. It's taken me 10 years to get here. And we got a long ways to go, right? So if you don't fully love it and you're not willing to invest in something for 5 years plus, then I want to do it. Someone asked me this over this weekend. This is a very wealthy billionaire who asked me this question: Lewis, what do you think about me launching a podcast? And first off, I'm like, you're a billionaire. You can do whatever you want, right? But they've been thinking about it for a while, and they've been kind of resistant and hesitant and fearful, which I'm like, you're a billionaire. You've had this huge success. And why are you afraid to launch a podcast? But we all have different fears at different seasons. And I said to them, don't launch a podcast. Don't launch a podcast unless you're willing to go into it for 5 years. And if you could say to yourself right now, if I did this once a week for 5 years or once every 2 weeks for 5 years and I make no money and I get no one to listen, would I be okay? Would I be happy and fulfilled? If you say, yes, I would be, then do a podcast. Then go all in, do it. But they had an expectation where they're like, I want it to be number one when I launch it. I want to get millions of downloads right away. I want to make money with it. I want to make sure it's everywhere. And I'm like, okay, you can set that intention, but it's just hard. I'm just giving you the facts. It's hard. I'm not saying you can't do it, but if that's where you're putting your basis of doing something, then don't do it. Like, unless you just got to love it and enjoy it, enjoy the process, and you want to do it for a while, then I would say do it. And so when it comes to an idea, I think a lot of people aren't going to be able to run with an idea because they can't execute consistently for 5, 7, 10 years to launch something, period. It just takes time to iterate and put it out there. That'd be number one. And also find people that you feel like are trustworthy, that you tell this idea to, if you're looking for partners or feedback or things like that. So you could also hire a coach and have confidentiality and say, hey, I want some coaching on this product or this idea that I want to launch. And hire a coach who's got experience or expertise in the industry with a non-disclosure agreement. That way you cover yourself, and they can't go work on that project. So that's an easy way to solve that. So with that, I think that is our last question. I'm not even sure how long we've been here, but I feel like it's probably a couple hours. So I just want to say a couple things. One, what was your biggest takeaway so far from this VIP session? Go ahead and type it in. So I can see, I haven't seen all the comments, so I have no idea if you've been criticizing me, judging me, or saying good things. But good thing that I'm not living in fear that's holding me back from your criticism or judgment if that's happening, right? That's the point here. Schedule your life and your mission. Clear goals for this year. Execution and action on all fronts. Identify 2 biggest fears and overcome them. Yeah, and you overcome them by doing them consistently. It doesn't happen like, oh, I'm free of this in a week. Typically, it takes a lot of time. Master your emotions, decide and commit. My biggest takeaway, you too had so much self-doubt and fears and came out the other side. So can we. Yes, intentions and feelings, make sure they're aligned. I got a huge dose of motivation, said Tony. Love it, Tony. It's not about success, it's about being authentic. My greatest takeaway is I'm not alone in my fears and doubts, says Lisa. Is your idea within your meaningful mission, said Ernesto. How we do anything is how we do everything. And what are the anythings in my life? The mindset shift. Take action with a game plan which is aligned to my mission plan. Expanding, crush the self-doubt. Even the most successful have fear. Yes, I want you to know that. Like I'm with these people often, and they have insecurities and fears. Get an action board. Yes, a lot to assimilate and put into action. Is what I'm doing supporting my mission? Q&A was good. The tips were great, and the Q&A was good. This could be a course. Yes, this is a live coaching for you guys when we're recording, and we'll give you to you guys as well. I realized how confidently I shared my mission here, and I hadn't done that in the past, said Gabriella. I love that. Thank you and appreciation that the time, the energy has been put into a wonderful reminders and insights. Glad I got one here. And just, did you guys enjoy the webinar training and the content and the production of this webinar and the whole process of the marketing? If you did, just type in yes. And that's, that means you're clapping for everyone on Team Greatness who's watching right now. So most of my team should still be on, although they might have been jumped for other things, but they were on the webinar. They helped create the webinar. They developed the content with me. They did the design, the marketing, the copy, the production, the video, the editing, all that stuff. So give it up for the team. Just type in a thank you, and it's all the team effort. And we've got the best team out there, I think. So big thank you to Big Team Greatness. Okay. Final words for you guys. If you haven't yet gotten one book, just do one. You're going to get one anyways because you're a part of VIP, but do me a favor and get one more so you can give to a friend. It'd mean a lot to me if you go on Amazon right now and just buy one or two or 10 copies, either one, but at least one copy would be great. Number two, if you want to do the one-day private kind of VIP coaching in person with me, it'll be about 50 people, entrepreneurs, influencers, authors, leaders coming to that. Go to the bundle link. Jamie will put that in the chat right now. And that is if you buy 100 books through that process, you'll be invited to go to the VIP day. So go to that, lewishouse.com/bundles. I think it's bundle or bundles. I'm not sure if it's with an S or not, but I think both links would work. So do that. And what else do I have? Yeah, that would be a big help. Again, if you found value today, if you love the work we're doing, if you love what the team is doing, the biggest thing you can do is buy a copy on Amazon right now. It would mean a lot to us. And buy a few if you want to give it away and pay it forward to some people. The next thing would be, if you haven't subscribed to both School of Greatness and Daily Motivation on Apple, here's what I want to do. If you subscribe to both of them right now on Apple, just subscribe to both of them right now on Apple, and you subscribe to both of them. A lot of you are probably going to subscribe, but if you subscribe to both the School of Greatness and the Daily Motivation right now, and if you leave a review on the School of Greatness, what I want to do is pick out over the next 24 hours, we're going to look for this. So it usually take like a few hours to come through. So I'll pick tomorrow, but you got to do it now so it comes in tomorrow. We'll pick 5 people who leave a review on the School of Greatness podcast to send a $25 Amazon gift card. So we'll pick 5 people. My team will pick them at random. So if you go and you leave a review right now on the School of Greatness, it's got to come through today. And you subscribe there and to the Daily Motivation, which again is free. You don't have to leave a review there. Just leave a review on the School of Greatness today. We'll pick 5 of you, give you a $25 Amazon gift card. You got to put your name in there. So, or take a screenshot and send it to us, but at least put your name. Sometimes people put like happy basketball player as like their screen name. It's like, we don't know who you are. So put your name in there so we can email you and come back in here and make sure we'll get your email from the VIP section when you guys signed up. So leave a review there, $25 Amazon gift card, which essentially buys you back the book that you bought, which the whole point of this whole process was like just to buy a book. So we'll pick 5 people tomorrow. I'm making sure, Jamie, that you're on top of that. And the team will pick 5 different people who leave a review over on the School of Greatness right now. Make sure you subscribe over there. And this is it, guys. Again, this is all part of like helping you improve the quality of your life by getting the right mindset, the greatness mindset. This is 10 years of research and practice and interviews put together in one practical application of this book. So I hope you enjoy it when it comes in. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to be here, for investing in yourself, for spending the extra money to be a part of this VIP coaching. I usually don't get a time to express and share this way, the way that I have, because I'm always letting other people talk. But I hope you're able to get behind my mind and inside of like the way I think about these things. And this is the game. I feel like this is the thing that will help you in your businesses and your careers and your relationships in your life when you can start to master it. As I'm still in the journey of doing this. It's not like I figured this out and I'm just trying to tout the answers that I have. It's like, this is the process I've been on. This is what supported me, and it keeps supporting me. So big thank you, everyone. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. And if no one's told you lately, I want to remind you, you're loved, you're worthy, and you matter. And go have a great day, guys. I'll see you later. And this is one of the things that I think people lack, the consistency and the discipline, which has been the foundation of the success of the School of Greatness, is the ability for me to be excited about it consistently, even when there's a lot going on in my life, even when I don't feel like it, even when I feel like I need a week off. I still have the excitement to show up because there's a deeper, meaningful mission beyond just me.